but my copy of Gears of War came in as well.
Oh, we at least
Are
need to
y'all
play some
noticing?
multiplayer.
Are y'all noticing that on some of these PS5 games, the plastic that literally is part of the outer cover here is like cut wonky?
Where you get the weird grooves when you open it?
Both.
It's whatever the heat gun they use to seal the case. Is that what you're talking
about? Yeah, like this just this clear plastic part on the case. Both this and my Tony Hawk 3 and 4, like I think it was the back portion wasn't like it was longer than the front portion. And I had to literally like take a razor and like shave it down.
I don't know that I've seen that.
I don't think I've seen that either. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I got both of them from Amazon, I believe. So maybe it's
a bad batch of cases.
Batch of cases. Yeah, but
I would, because I've been buying a lot of 4K Blu-rays as well. I would say 4 out of 5 of them come to me not in the spindle. They're not in that click down thing.
I hate that.
But
that's Amazon.
I've already adopted Cesar's philosophy of I'm opening that fucking thing up and seeing what's in there. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, at this point, you got to.
I got to know.
I mean, people are stealing stuff out of there and replacing it, so it's...
They're doing it with freaking everything.
Your Top Spin got me. That was it. I've been opening everything I get since Top Spin.
I haven't been burned before in my life until that, and I was stupid enough to just sit there and look
at it. And then Walmart gave you grief. Walmart gave you shit for it.
I was like, they were like, I can't give you your money back. So I don't want my money back. I just want a workable copy of the game that I paid for. And she was arguing with me about that. I'm like, look,
ma'am, I didn't
ask
you
what
for
they
this.
sent me. Yeah. It was sent from the Ellenwood store. It was delivered to me. So for whatever reason, I ordered it online for warehouse, but they decided to fulfill it in store. So y'all gave me no choice. So
well, now you know why they filled it in store.
Mm-hmm.
So
I took that shit.
And then she tried to give me...
wanted a free game.
Yeah, she get that grief to me. She's like, oh, you should really go back to Ellenwood and return this. It's like, man, I'm not driving all the Ellenwood. I didn't want y'all to send it from Ellenwood to begin with.
You don't get a choice in that. I hate that about Walmart Plus.
Yeah.
You don't get a choice. I'm like, just ship it to me. I don't need it now. I don't want to tip the driver $3 because I don't need this now. I can 4 days is fine. Just get it to me at some point. I don't need this ASAP.
That's why I like the Amazon late day credits. Like I usually use those credits to buy books. Yeah. Yep. I was like, yeah, I'll wait 2 more days.
And I don't feel bad about
give me $1.
I don't feel as bad about the sustainability. Like this truck's driving through my neighborhood every fucking day. I don't need this thing immediately. Some things I do. Some things I need pretty soon, but most of the stuff it's like it's just going on the shelf. Just get it to me whenever. I'll get it's extra 1% back on my Prime Visa card too.
I usually give them a good review because I think there was one point they were giving them tips from Amazon for good reviews, and people were like, hey, y'all should just pay them more anyways. You shouldn't have to wait for reviews from us to do it. So I don't know if they ever stopped doing it. I just usually leave them good reviews unless they crap the bed on my delivery. So.
Throw it at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay them the right amount to start with, and make them not have to piss in a
why throw that as an option? Yeah, why throw that as an option? Like, oh, we'll pay you extra $5 if they leave you a good review. I was like,
yeah.
Most people just close that out, man. I know because we've all worked customer-based services before, and I kind of still do now because some of my job is measured by reviews. It may not be a huge majority, but I do get graded on surveys. So
right,
yeah,
it doesn't weigh as heavy as it used to in the past. So
those secret shoppers, I used to kill it on the secret shoppers. But then a lot of the times we had a heads up somebody was in the area. The neighboring store would call us and be like, hey, I'm pretty sure I got hit by a secret shopper. They're probably headed your way. It would work vice versa.
Yeah.
I signed up
not
to
bad.
do that
I mean,
one
you
time.
just go down the checklist, man, and you just get used to not going down the checklist because most people are apprehensive about.
Right.
I'm here for this. Stop trying to give me this. And I'm like, no, I get it, but I got to do this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So.
It's part of my job. The cameras are watching me. They got to make sure I rattle through this. No, I don't really care to see your license, but this is an M-rated game. You already said you would let Junior have Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I already told you what was in that, but I got to see your ID regardless. We'll forever have stories of selling GTA to minors. While while informing their parents of the content in said games.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to do this thing? Oh, I got to invite our fourth guest. Give me audio now.
Now recording.
Test.
Make sure we're in there. We're all there.
Chat.
We all join within 3 seconds. Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Man, that has been like the best. Our forced Skype abandonment has been like one of the best things I think happened to the show.
Even though now we can get teams for free, we'll never go back.
Can we get teams for free after you set up a thing for us?
I think they made a free version now.
It's
because when they killed Skype, they're like, oh, now there's a free way of doing it. I just don't know if it's supposed to be. I haven't done the research. I just know like they finally pulled the trigger and made like a Skype-ish version of it. Like you get some version of it free. I don't know if there's limitations on there. I have no idea. I never researched it because we were already, going this route. So I was like,
yeah.
So
I think it sounds better. I think it looks better, and I have no issues pulling down the FLAC file to edit. And I think it's better audio quality across the board. I
agree. Why make and out of
I kind of want to know.
That saying?
Mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to know if we could do a Teams call, if there was a time limit on there, just out of curiosity.
I'll research it. That's fine.
This works and it's amazing, so it would have to be an even better product is the only reason to pivot.
Yeah. I mean, it will only benefit me because I already have a Office license. I know not all of us do, like a subscription-based one, but
Brant's is pretty lenient. I don't know if mine is frowned upon. Who knows? Let's do this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 365 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and daily podcast. That's right, 365 days a week, just like this episode. We are coming to you in your ear holes. You can listen to us. Wow, so you could actually listen to an episode every single day of the year and listen to every one of our episodes. That's kind of fucking crazy to think about that. Minimum of what, like an hour and 15 or an hour and 20 minutes content every day?
Yeah, hopefully your drive to work isn't that long.
Ooh.
So,
boy. I mean, we've pulled down like some 2.5 hour
people
shows.
that do it.
Yeah.
Got some coworkers who,
yeah,
they're Lawrenceville adjacent, and I was like, ooh. So.
Yep, guys, congratulations too. We usually applaud the big numbers, but I think 365 is like a significant number. So was 360. We got past 360.
It's also part of the Whole Foods family and their food brand.
Whole Foods 365.
That's their store brand, 365. Yeah, being healthy every day.
Microsoft, the same Microsoft Office reference you just made.
Yeah.
Get your subscription for NOFODcast 365.
But right now, because Whole Foods, you have read that article, and it's kind of pivoting off what we need to be talking about. But I read the article that Amazon is like converting all their employees to Amazon employees now. So it's like a lot of weirdness going on over there. So a lot of people are not happy. So
that's where you could tell we're watching
some weird stuff.
You can tell we're watching the same content because our screens keep flashing at the same time. It's like a lightning show going off in the background.
Glad I don't suffer from seizures. So I mean.
Oh, we need a disclaimer on this show because of that too.
Yeah.
Was that like a Jeep commercial? Like it just kept flashing nonstop.
I have no idea. I'm not in the market for a vehicle, so every time I see a car, I drop it off from my brain.
I'm paying for a Jeep.
I'm tired of these. But like this commercial right now is like AI induced. I'm tired of these AI induced NFL commercials. They're killing me.
I think
they're so bad.
But there's an audience out there. It's just like, wow, I can't believe they did that. That's so cool looking. Wow, it's a tiger or It's an actual Detroit Lion eating that piece of ham. I think they suck too.
Oh god, they got the Rizzler on there.
The barrier there is that anyone can do this. It didn't take any sort of.
Yeah.
But they still charge the same like millions for this production value or whatever. We're watching the NFL intro to tonight's. Well, they've already started playing, but it's this whole.
Yeah.
They got each team represented with some AI, like the Detroit Lion was some AI lion eating something. It's just.
I think there's another one with, remember, that all of them are underdogs. So it's like these weird looking dogs moving around. I'm like, man, and these are official NFL commercials. So it's like, it's sad. It's like, I figured it'd be like a MGM bet or something like that. Something like a betting site or something like that. But like, I can see that. But it's like official NFL stuff. It's like when Coca-Cola went through did AI-induced commercials for their Christmas stuff last year. And it was like, come on, guys, you're Coca-Cola. I was like, if you're like a small company or something like that, then I'm like, yeah, but or something that's maybe controversial that you support, like betting, or something like that,
Something brave and controversial.
It would have been way cooler if they just commissioned a bunch of, I don't know, like not famous or named animators to just like come up with some quick little snippets.
Yeah, it's Coke.
Rather than just AI type these prompts in there and
it's one of the most recognizable brands and logos and trademarks in the world. It's like Nintendo and Sega and Disney. Like these are everybody can pick these out. I will give our Atlanta, of course, we're Atlanta based. We had Dragon Con this past weekend. There's some great photos, and I saw a Titus from Final Fantasy X that was awesome. He's like, you saw the same one? He's like going up against people, and he's got it's specifically like the battle stance Titus, and he's got it down perfectly. The flow and everything.
The wave.
Y'all saw the same one, huh? God, it's so good. And he's just going up against various pop culture characters.
This is the point in time where they you always see those posts like only in Atlanta, and then they're trying to make Atlanta seem like a weird place because there's people walking around in cosplay and stuff like that, and it's out of context. They don't clarify like, there's a convention that's huge, has been here for decades. So
it's one of the things we're known for, I would say. Like, it's a huge deal here.
So they try to promote clicks and conversations is usually how they typically get paid on those platforms ever since they've increased those revenue avenues for people. So it's like a lot of the social media is fake nowadays. So I was like, I hate going on social media and people arguing about console stuff, and I'm like, this is dumb. I was like I don't know if we talk about it this week, but like what was it? The CEO of Helldivers just like he's like, I don't pay attention to that stuff. He said majority of these people just don't even go on social media and talk about games. They just play it. So it's like this is not an accurate barometer about like how the gaming community is. So you can't even use that as a metric at all. So
and it sold Helldivers 2 sold like gangbusters on Xbox. There's so many more people playing that now because it's out on Xbox. Where I was driving the Dragon Con thing is that there was an artist in the like vendor area or whatever that was selling AI art, and they got removed.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that too.
I was like, hell yeah.
Love to see it.
And then people were putting like notes and stuff on their empty table, like "Be gone, scammer" and all this sort of stuff. I was like, fuck yeah, that's the people were making a stand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of that either, but the crazy thing is people don't announce that it's AI. They try to like, oh yeah, look at my art. And I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, at least you're going to be, they're going to go that route, at least be out in the open about it. So
yeah,
just say, hey, this is not me. I put it in the program.
It's not my work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I fed a prompt.
But even then it's controversial because, you have to teach the AI to make the art. So you have to feed it with real people's art.
Other people's art.
To get it, so it's like, and you don't credit that original artist, they don't get that money on there, so
right.
That's what makes it bad. So
yep,
I want to see the Long Walk, man. I saw those reviews. They said it's really good. It
does look good. I see the preview.
It's like Stephen King wrote that book. I never read that. That's the one he's using a pen name in the '80s because he did that in Running Man and stuff like that. So like all my horror books are not in this name. They're gonna be this fake name I created. All my other horror books are
one of his novellas.
Yeah, this is a thriller. So,
Renee's in the chat. He says, "I agree. There's so much fake stuff. I just ignore most."
That's what you got to do. Don't engage. Once you engage, it just encourages.
I mean, and we're able to spot that stuff. Like, it's got an uncanny valley feel to me. But then, like, our boomer parents are on Facebook. Like, I can't believe this cat's doing push-ups and dancing on a railroad track. Like, no, they're not doing that. It's not. Look at it. It looks so real. That's not. Yeah, that's not real.
No.
Tonight's news, when we're not discussing AI. Call of Duty the movie? ? They tried to save Perfect Dark. 007 First Light State of Play. Another N64 game has been added to Nintendo Switch Online Plus. And we have your September Game Pass games. I'm one of your hosts, 10-ish minutes in, 20 minutes in, Richard Bergman.
Yeah.
Joined tonight by Newsmaster, Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, great job on the news. I would say the previous, 200-ish. Not sure about the quality of yeah. I'm gonna backdate it a little bit because somebody's listening to these every single day and they're like, wow, finally 365. I think Brant's been doing a good job. And then here I am on the 365th one questioning. I mean,
it's just to do a self review.
Yeah. It's just been.
Is it time for my self review?
Yep. Yeah, this is time. The listeners need to know. We usually do this stuff, off air, but it just sometimes you got to out it in the content in the show. No, you always do a great job.
To listening.
What's that?
Do I get promoted to listener?
Oh man, you want to be promoted? Oof.
I mean,
was it better? Was it a better job just being a listener? What was that, Cesar?
You would argue it was a demotion.
Yeah.
Get demoted to listener.
Demoted
Every time we bring this up, you're always like, oh, I don't know if that's promotion.
Maybe. Because you started on do you remember the episode number? It was 100 something. Mark Knight said his last one was 100. What's that?
It was in the hundreds.
Yeah.
It was, gosh, 4-ish years ago now.
2020. I think you started 5 years ago. You started in 2020. You did. Because we were doing the video call.
Yep. You're right.
Yep. The other voice you heard in all this preamble is our resident lore master and soundboard master, Cesar Concepcion II. Cesar, welcome.
Hello.
Dang it, Bobby.
we got a Hank Hill sound clip. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, you got that. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or SoundCloud or Spotify or anywhere else you might be listening to, thank you for listening. But we do record on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to those sound bites. For some reason, they don't come over to the regular audio. But we have a good time. Join us. Join our community. Chat with us. We try to keep up with the chat, all three of us, and respond back when we see stuff. And we're pretty chill. We're laid back. We have a good time. This is not a fanboy show. You will not show up and hear a pro stance for some sort of brand where we're carrying the flag forward for this corporation that none of us work for.
I will probably say I'm anti keycard, so I can't speak for everybody else here. But
yeah, it's a pretty strong stance we could all have. I think I'm pretty anti keycard.
I will not speak for NOFODcast or Brant or Richard here, but I am an anti keycard. So
I think we all have that soapbox under our feet right now.
I mean, your Series X discs have been keycards for the past 5 years, right? Brant has a Halo Infinite keycard. Yeah. I do too. I have a physical copy of Halo Infinite, which is a game keycard. I own the game. I could trade it in, but if I pop it in my system, nothing's on there except a download prompt.
I mean, we did get some interesting information. I know it's not a news, but I know we all probably saw that same interaction on social media about the game keycard for Star Wars. Where Dark X 1 had somebody had gone in his chat because they were arguing about that the game was only like 26 gigs, and it's like, how's this not on the full cart? And I think somebody who worked on the game said, unfortunately, the way that the game was designed and it was ported over is that it is streamed at a high speed, and the key cards are just not. I mean, just the game cards are not fast enough. I think it's like 400 megs, and I think the internal storage is 900 megs. And the guy said, he basically said, if they are, we redesign it from the ground up for the Switch 2. Probably we could get away with it, but he's like, they're not going to spend that kind of money, especially on a game that controversially didn't sell well, even though it's getting high praise. And then there's a lot of praise for this port being amazing. So I look forward to getting it at
supposedly
a discount. So.
Yeah, supposedly the first Switch 2 game to feature ray tracing.
Yep.
Because the game does not run without ray tracing. So,
hey, last week it was on my games installed, and it's still hanging out there in the games installed list.
But I am
on my PS5.
I also echo Richard here. Like I have a way of playing it, so my likelihood of, even though I'm interested in that port and everything, my likelihood of buying it is probably anytime soon be slim. Unless it's super cheap, and then even then, I would probably just at this point just buy digital versus buying a key card. So it's
an advantage being that you get the gold edition, so you get the formerly $129 SKU, I think.
Yeah.
So you get all the content, season pass. I would say the patches are on the cartridge, but that's not how it works with the game key card. So you're going to get the most up to date version when it prompts you to download the game.
So there's some interesting conversations going around about this, because I think if some people have argued on the forums, is like, why can't we just install based off the cart, have the full game on the cart and just install locally to the drive? And then there's some arguments about that as well that's carried on, if that's even possible with a micro SD. And I was like, well, I mean, why couldn't they just get around that way? Have the full game on there, but you can't run it unless it's locally installed.
They require those express SDs, right?
Yeah,
you have to have that. So does that fit the read write requirement?
No, I think what it is because how the key cards work, and I have one. It's that Bravely Default. It's like when you put it in there, there's a magnetic lock, right? So once I put the game in there, this is why the magnets are important, that you don't put a strong enough magnet on there, because it's only like a millisecond. So when it hits that cart, it runs to see if you have authentication that you own this key, and then it prompts you to download the game from the eShop. There's nothing locally installed in that card outside of a magnetic serial number.
Right.
So it's like a split half second. So I think the argument they're making is that they want something similar to like a Blu-ray disc, where you don't download from the internet unless there's parts of the game that's not complete. Most of that game on PS5 is on that Blu-ray disc. So their argument is like, why can't they just fill up that micro SD express card with the game? It won't run off of it, but it does a local install. That way you don't have to have internet access to install every time.
Okay.
So that somebody had brought that up, but there's some other logistics behind it. I didn't finish that conversation because it's just somebody was like, I don't understand why they can't just do a local install on the micro SD card and pull that information, install it locally onto the device, and just run it off the device, and just not have to have access to the internet to download a workable version of this game. So
maybe just one time. So similar to like, so you'll pop it in and you put like textures and shaders like off to the side, like, we're going to need to download some additional content for this, instead of it being the entire thing, as you're saying, is like the consumer argument.
I'm saying like, I think their argument is saying like it's 26 gigs, put it on a 64 gig cart. The full game's on cart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not going to run off cart because there is some speed
restriction. It's too slow.
So it's going to do a local install. Why have the internet to download the game when you can do it locally off the cart? That's just the confusion. That's what they're saying. It's the same thing as a Blu-ray, right? Nothing runs off those Blu-rays when we put them in there.
Yeah.
It does a local install.
PS5.
Yep.
Yeah.
It has ever since, halfway through the PS3 generation.
So I think I'm interested in, I didn't finish it. I think there's some logistics on there why it doesn't work. But somebody had brought that up. So they were like, I don't understand why that's not a possibility. I don't know so.
Is Nintendo afraid that you will pop in Star Wars Outlaws, dump it to the SD card, and then trade in the game key card? Don't you still need that authentication for popping it in?
We still need the disc to authenticate to run it off there. Nothing really changes.
Just like Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to be online every time you plug in the game key card? Or is it like one and done? Can I put it in airplane mode? And I haven't messed with these, so I don't even know.
I don't know what the rules are.
I don't either. We need to like test some of these scenarios and like put it in airplane mode and all that sort of stuff and see if it ever balks at you. Some things DRM related will give you like 8 to 10 day window of being offline before that check pops in.
I think like what Cesar was saying, it does it when you immediately first plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
To verify that this is legitimate, and then call to the servers to download this game.
Right.
And then afterward, you've got the game on your system, and it's just like playing anything on your like even your new Gears of War on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you put this in your disc in your system, it installs on your system, but you still have to pop this disc back in anytime you want to play it.
Which is where I fucked up with Helldivers. I shouldn't have bought a physical copy of Helldivers 2. I should have bought the digital. I should have. And I learned. That was my live service lesson.
So I think
what
that's
was your
probably
live
how the
service
game
lesson?
We've
all had one.
Overwatch and
Halo it's a coaster.
Halo Infinite.
Live service lesson. I have 2 copies of Concord for PS5.
That you got for free.
Which have dropped tremendously in value. Yes, I did.
Right.
I got 1 copy for free. Oh boy. That was a hell of a sidebar.
We can go off on it. I mean, it's just an interesting question because, I mean, at this point, we've been doing this since the PS3 360 age, where, I mean, we can install locally and not having to have a disc other than authenticate that you own a copy of that game. So
there's something about the handheld nature of the Switch, though, that makes that feel a certain way. Like if your Switch just never leaves the charger that it comes in, which conveniently hooks up to the TV, then I don't know that you encounter that. It's just like every other platform, right? But if you're on the go, what sort of things do you encounter there? You know, if you're driving to the airport,
that's the concern. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're driving to the airport and you grab Star Wars Outlaws, like, man, I'm going to install this fucking great game and play it on the 5-hour flight that I have coming up. And then you can't, like, what did you actually physically buy to play? And is it your fault for being portable and not coming home and installing it? Like I would for a PS5 copy, like y'all were saying. Some weird shit. And we're all fortunate enough to have the means to have multiple consoles and pick where we want to have these experiences at. But there are some that, you know, where they went from Switch ecosystem to Switch 2 and they're having to wrangle all this stuff brand new.
I mean, we'll be here all night talking about it. I mean, there's pros and cons, and I don't
it evolves every week. We talk
Yeah.
about it every week. I feel like there's a new development every week, so something changes or something comes out that sets either a new bar or a new challenge or a new discussion. So
I mean,
I definitely don't
everybody
feel like we're beating a dead horse.
Yeah, everybody knows how we feel about it, but I mean, I guess with the whole point we bring up here, and I know it's not really on news, it's news now, but I mean, if you want to play a good portable copy of Star Wars Outlaws, you can't go wrong with a Switch 2 if you have one. So
just don't expect to play it in the car on the way home from purchasing.
As an all game key card, just you're gonna have to plan that you're gonna have to have some type of internet access and a good internet access, right? It's probably gonna take you 60 years in a hotel Wi-Fi, so
or airport. My airport example.
Yeah, that as well, or a hotspot. I mean, luckily a lot of these key cards have not been super huge, so like it's surprising to me that they have that game's like 26 gigs or something like that. The magic that they got to compress that, it's amazing. Yeah.
Speaking of compression, Call of Duty is going to have smaller installs. I haven't updated my Warzone build on PS5 yet, but it's going from like 120 gigs to like 26 and 30 or 35, depending on which system you have. There's some crazy decreases in storage size, which I just had to clean out the fridge to install Star Wars Outlaws. So that would have benefited me with shrinking down that Warzone install.
Some of that might just be, because those games have the ability to stream assets. I'm wondering if they're utilizing that somehow now a little bit more efficiently. So
I wanted to add a news story, and now I'll find it. I'll find it by the end.
Yeah. It'll pop back up
because this Call of Duty
something we'll talk about.
Yep, we're going to start off with the Call of Duty movie, which is officially in the works at Paramount, and a TV show to possibly follow. I think that's the news, right? We talk about
pretty much.
We don't read all these quotes. This is Call of Duty, one of the biggest entertainment franchises in the world. This news is probably what 15 to 18 years too late. Like they could have. I'm not saying too late. Like they could have struck an even hotter iron before, but I would say the iron is still as hot as it was back then. What do you do with this?
And they have, I don't know. They have quite the, a vast amount of content they can pull from.
30 games it could be based off of, says Andy Robinson at VGC.com.
You imagine they would do Modern Warfare, right? You think, Price is probably the most recognizable character in there.
Yeah.
That would probably be on there. And there was some other news that dropped with this. They didn't really talk about it because I think it's all circumstantial. But when this announcement came out, and Paramount is very big right now. They just did the merger with Skybound, and you have Ellis, the son of the owner of the Oracle software, is the CEO of this company, and he's the one that owns it. Yeah. So he like you guys mentioned in this article, he kind of celebrated like, this is great. This is like one of the biggest gaming franchises. We're finally going to make a movie out of it. So then there's some stuff that behind the scenes that came out. So like this morning, Discussing Film came out and said Steven Spielberg really wanted to direct Call of Duty movie. His team pitched his vision to the film for the film to Activision. Activision got spooked by Spielberg wanting full control over the film, so they sold the rights to Paramount instead.
So stupid.
We don't trust Steven Spielberg.
Who is this guy? Who is this Spielberg fellow?
We just don't know if he can do this.
Oh, he did the movie with the alien and the kid, Mac and Me. I think he did that one.
Absolutely.
I think that was
so. Yeah, that was a lot of sites were leaking that this morning when that kind of like that's behind the scenes to how this all went out, and because the question was like, why was it taking so long to make this movie? And and that kind of like multiple sources have kind of leaked out like, Spielberg made a big pitch and he wanted to do it, but he wanted full control, and that's basically he pitched his vision. Activision won final cut and full control over production. He apparently, and they mentioned on here he's a gamer and he plays Call of Duty a lot.
Wow.
So
remember, he was originally attached to Halo all those years ago,
yeah.
Like Xbox One unveiling era of Halo and build up to Halo 5 and stuff. I don't think he ever was attached to any of that stuff.
So why wouldn't you want the guy who did Saving Private Ryan to do your war-based franchise? Is weird to me. But Ellis is a new guy. It makes sense. And we talked about this before. They're dropping money like crazy, getting us all this content. So I think I just read an article, and this is, believe it or not, this is also gaming related, where Deadline had mentioned that after the success, of like Mario Brothers Animated, Fallout, the TV series, that movie studios are looking, since comic book movies have kind of cooled off, that they're going for gaming IP. So we're gonna probably see a lot more gaming IP. Acquisitions, because Minecraft popped off too. It didn't have much staying power, but it made a lot of money when it came out, and it made Warner Brothers very profitable this year, because Warner Brothers broke a record. They had like 7 films that went over 40 or 50 million opening, and that was one of them. That's how they started out their summer. So, and that's why we saw Mortal Kombat get pushed back from October to summer of next year, because they're like, yeah, we want to do it again. And so, and there was a lot of hype for Mortal Kombat when that trailer came out, because Carl Urban's a kick-ass actor. I think he'd play a good Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
So
hey, they made several Sonic movies. They're gonna make another one. So
yeah,
and they're good.
Sonic Hedgehog did really good.
They're making good stuff. And the stinkers get awarded. They're known as stinkers, like Borderlands. Borderlands sucked.
Yeah. But I just finished Twisted Metal. It sounded like Cesar watched it too. That was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Twisted Metal was solid.
Yeah. The quality's gone up. It sucks because Sony couldn't get their stuff together and get an actual game out there in time, because they were just trying to misfire one quickly and not take the spirit of the series. I gotta give them the props, because they could have just farted something out there and just excuse my language. They could have just pooped something out there and just like, all right, yeah, Twisted Metal, and I still went with something vulgar. But
I think both terms are acceptable in this show. But they could have fucking shit something out there.
Yeah. And just been like, ruin their image. So that's one thing Sony's been pretty good about, is not doing that. So
what property that hasn't been mentioned for one of these would you guys like to see? What's something out there that's not in development?
We know Mass Effect is coming. That's from Amazon. We know God of War is still on track. That's also from Amazon. Amazon's gone big on video game IPs. The only one that fell through was The one with Alloy. I don't know why I forgot. It's dropping the name on there. Horizon. That fell through because the showrunner did some dubious stuff in the background, so they had just canceled that production. Because some of their code of conduct was they weren't a good person, so they just canceled their whole slate of everything they were working with. And unfortunately, I never found a new home as of yet. But
we know we're getting Zelda. We know we're getting another Mario.
Yep.
We're getting Gears of War.
And we're getting the worst kept secret Donkey Kong. So
may I suggest? I mean, one could argue that Metal Gear Solid is already a movie. It would be rife for a miniseries, like the original Metal Gear Solid would be an incredible miniseries, I think. Or you'd have too many, like Cowboy Bebop live action. You'd have too many people pointing out, like.
I think One Piece has done a good job because that was the same production company that did Cowboy Bebop, and they kind of learned their lesson. So,
but the creator of One Piece is like right there, and is
Oda. Yep. Yeah. Oda approves everything. When they did Cowboy Bebop, they never went to Watanabe. So
yeah, that's where they screwed up.
You will not have Kojima talking to anybody working on Metal Gear.
I'm amazed that he's celebrating his 10th anniversary of Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah. So he's been talking a lot about it, and he even clarified that the game is unfinished. He put it out there. It's like, yep, it's unfinished.
Wait.
He never addressed it. I think he retweeted something about it being unfinished, where he kind of finally confirmed, because nobody would confirm him or Konami, but the famous story of how they just shipped that game out because they got tired of the long production times. So
I mean, they built a whole engine and stuff. Like, they think that was a long production time. Look at this generation and the one before this one. It was nothing compared to them building an entire Fox engine that ran on PS3 and PS4 and 360 and Xbox One,
which they don't use anymore.
And they don't even use it anymore.
I don't even know if they use it for PES, but I know they've already migrated Unreal Engine 5 for Silent Hill 2, and then the new Metal Gear is on Unreal Engine 5. So
yeah, I think Castlevania would be high on that list, but they've got a very successful anime franchise out of Castlevania. That's
I was about to say they've already
incredibly well done.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry was well done.
It's getting a second season.
Yep.
Resident Evil maybe needs a reboot of sorts.
There is one coming. We talked about the movie. Yeah.
Zelda's on the way. I don't know.
Unfortunately,
let's say Half-Life.
There's a live action.
A great one.
There's a live action Tomb Raider coming. With Sophia Turner, and then they just can't. Unfortunately, they just canceled the animated one. So the second season will be the last one for the one on Netflix.
I watched the first episode of that, and it was incredible.
A lot of people were disappointed because they said was very popular.
It's good Tomb Raider.
They canceled it, and they said the second season coming out in December will be the final one. So,
did we get good Halo instead of Master Chief with no helmet? Hey, whatever the Paramount thing is.
It's that's tough because when they came out with the Doom movie, they had those. It's tough to put somebody big under a helmet and obscure their face,
right?
And that was the argument for Judge Dredd, right? For Sylvester Stallone, because it's like they were like when they came out with the Judge Dredd and with Sylvester Stallone, they were like, yeah, people were like in the comics he wore the helmet all the time, like Carl Urban did hit for that reboot they did, which was an incredible film. But I'm a big Alex Garland fan, so they're like, no, he's a big star. We can't just have his face covered all the time. So like he was barely in that helmet. So it's like these studios always like, I'm paying all this money for this actor to just cover up his face. It's not gonna fly. So
I don't know. Let us know in the comments or write into nofodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what franchise you would love to see on the silver or the small screen. Next up in news, Take-Two talks to save, quote, save per Xbox's Perfect Dark reboot reportedly collapsed. I guess the news is in the lead there. This also comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. Take-Two, the publisher, was offered Xbox's canceled Perfect Dark reboot. That's according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who reports that the collapse of talks between Microsoft, Take-Two, and Crystal Dynamics owner Embracer resulted in an unspecified number of layoffs at Crystal Dynamics last month. So that thing was ready to go, and basically the long-term ownership of the Perfect Dark franchise, says the Bloomberg article, became the sticking point. Like, who's going to own this? What's this going to turn into? It wasn't just a case of one title. There you go. Perfect Dark. I would love a Perfect Dark series. If we're not going to get anything else, I kind of feel like that's where that media could really shine, right? Like, there's no chance we get anything in this universe again, and that's probably going to be one of those. We're hosed on that. Give us more adventures. That universe was rife for more adventures.
So I think the sticking point in the argument is, IP owned, like you said on here.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that already. So we looked at what Bayonetta, which the first Bayonetta is on, pretty much playable on anything.
Yep.
But whatever, and then Sega still owns that IP, but whatever deal they made with Nintendo owns a part of that IP for X amount of years or some percentage on the second and third one, because they always said, like, well, we can port this over to other things, but it's up to Nintendo because they're basically the ones who made this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. My guess is that, because I doubt Microsoft would have parted with the IP unless they're willing to sell it, and which I guess could be a possibility if that game took off and they're like, Take-Two's like, yeah, you know what, we'll buy this from you. If you're not going to use it,
you're not. You sat on this license for 20 years. Perfect Dark Zero Fun came out in 2005, 20 years ago.
But
we're going to stream that one day, by the way.
But we don't know if Microsoft is like, all right, we see what Sony's doing with Hot Shots. We see what they're doing with Patapon.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom Wars. Maybe we want to maintain ownership, but give out these IPs.
Hot Shots is out today.
Which is funny because like Clap Hands, who made that golf game for the Switch, got updated for Switch 2 and gets hit 60 frames per second, like the same day Hot Shots came out.
Wait, which golf game?
They made their golf game for Apple Arcade and ported it over to the Switch.
Yeah, I played that on Apple Arcade. It was good.
Yeah. They just did a secret patch the day Hot Shots came out to get that to 60 frames per second on Switch 2. Yeah.
Scandalous.
And up the graphics a little bit, the resolution. So
that was a good game. That was a legit Hot Shots game on Apple Arcade.
It's only $20 on Switch.
Is it called Clap Hands Golf? Is that the name of it?
It's like, I think so. Something similar. It's like I'll play on everybody's golf. It's like it's almost there, but it's not. It's like you can look at it like, I know what y'all doing here. I see it. And it's probably because Sony decided to not do anything with that IP anymore. It just kind of stinks because now they did, and they gave it to Namco, and they probably could have just gave it to Clap Hands, but
right. But they were that studio, right? They may not want to be defined by that. And Camelot made the first couple, didn't they? And Mario Golf.
Yeah.
Straight went to Nintendo base now at that point. So
before that, they gave us like I'm blanking on that series, Shining series on Shining Force and everything. The
Beyond the Beyond
RPGs on
Golden Sun
and Golden Sun. Yeah, Camelot Software.
Beyond the Beyond, I think has, in my opinion, aged better after Golden Sun came out because it just feels like it belongs in that universe the way that game plays. So
I have a copy. So. And every time I've thought about playing Beyond the Beyond, I look at video reviews and stuff, and people just say it's nothing. There's nothing to it. But what I see of it looks incredible and sounds good and everything. I just need to pop it in.
It's one of those cult followings because I always see people like say something about it. It's like, yeah, this game gets shitted on. And it's probably not. There's so many great RPGs on that PlayStation console, and it's probably not even in the top 50% of them. But for what it is an early release. I mean, if anybody has a PS3, or I don't know if it's on Vita, but I know you can get a digital copy on PS3. So,
it is digital on PS3.
Yeah, I don't think they've re-released it since. So it'd be neat if they put it on PS4, PS5 at some point. But
there was an unfair window, I feel like, in the start of the PlayStation's life cycle where people, Sony themselves were doing this, where they wanted more 3D based games, right? So people kind of looked at these early titles as maybe like a super Nintendo game, like something that would have come out on a CD add-on for the Super Famicom, right? But then, like, looking back, when we don't have any of these types of games anymore, and everything's been replaced by bigger 3D CGI action-driven experiences, we long for the best of what we had in that era. And that could be one of those sleeper hits that's like that. Like Golden Sun is a great iteration of that formula, I feel like.
I mean, it's like you said, we have a resurgence of that stuff coming back. I mean, like there's PS1 based graphics coming back, Super Nintendo based ones. There's games based off Chrono Trigger. I mean, Brant's got to play 85 different versions of Metroid now on Castlevania. So it's like that Pipistrello one I talked about yesterday. They on the back of the case they put on there. So the first Yo-Yo Mania. I'm like, it's like
What?
yeah,
That wasn't
so
Yo-Noid? Yo-Noid isn't the first Yo-Yo Mania?
So like, it's the first Mania, Castlevania, Metroidvania base, Yo-Yo base attack, everybody's got a gimmick, try to do something different because there's so many of those flavors out there. So
yeah,
but it's cool. It's great. We get a lot of different stuff on there. It sucks for us sometimes because we get so many choices. So, but and it's hard to play everything as it is,
and have a backlog.
The backlog's not going anywhere. It's it's gonna outlast me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Speaking of adding to the backlog.
Yeah, go ahead, Brent.
There was a PlayStation State of Play for the 007 First Light. I actually didn't watch this. I saw a couple clips from it, but
it's an Uncharted 4.5. Yeah,
I'm about to say I think I've already made my decision that I'm. Well, I'll talk about it first. So they did announce the release date. So for PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, and PC via Steam and Epic Game Store, the game will come out March 27th of 2026.
Soon. Right before GTA 6, right? 2 months before.
Yep. They want to get it out there before GTA 6. If GTA 6 doesn't get pushed back again.
It's coming out, man. That's perfect time right before summer. It's going to be $150. It's going to give people like 6 months to save up because when they announced that price in the Video Game Awards, they were like, all right, y'all got 6 months to save up.
And it doesn't matter because people will buy it.
Oh, they will.
So they did announce, of course, some different versions of this game. The standard at the $70 price point with the base game, with pre-order or digital pre-order only, you get a 24-hour early access. With the regular pre-orders, also you get the free deluxe upgrade, which includes some looks like some weapon skin and some outfits. So the deluxe is digital only, gonna be $80. The base game, of course, your outfits, weapon skins, and the other little random crap. Looks like gadget skins, I guess. And then the specialist is a physical only, $69. It's a
Nice.
Amazon exclusive. Base game, pre-order, you get the free deluxe upgrade. They did make the note that the Switch 2 version is a game key card. And you get a classic
Shocker.
tuxedo skin. And then the very last one, which is a physical only, the Legacy, which it will be a whopping $300.
Holy shit.
And will only be available for looks like PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. You get the base game, the free deluxe upgrades, a golden gun figurine, obsidian gold suit and gun, golden gun weapon skin, and a steel case.
Better be Sean Connery coming sitting and playing the game with me for $300.
That little standee with the golden gun, it looks kind of nice, but like $300 nice, I don't think so.
Scaramanga. I actually like the man with the golden gun. I know it's a big golden eye weapon thing that people associate, but that movie was actually pretty good.
So I mean, it's as Brand alluded to, and I don't want to take over from Brand too much, but essentially, what sells it for me, and the appropriateness of it pairing as a state of play was that it did look a lot like Uncharted.
It looks
So it's like
so
we haven't-
much like Uncharted. It's a Bond.
We haven't had like
Uncharted.
a new Uncharted in a long time. It's like it's gonna scratch that itch for a lot of people. So
Or
it's
Tomb
like,
Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out like 10 years ago, it feels like.
It's Uncharted mixed with Hitman, and with a Bond skin over it. Like
Uncharted Hitman.
It looks pretty damn good. There's a big I think this whole state of play was like 30-ish, 40-ish minutes. Mm-hmm. There's a whole gameplay trailer if you want to go check that out. There was a couple instances in there that like the game the frame rate dropped. So I'm hoping that's just kind of like early build whenever they captured this.
Yeah, we have time. It's March, right? We got like a little less than a year, so we hope they hire that out.
So I'm gonna be looking to the next couple trailers to see if they actually get that sorted out, which I think IO will.
It's on my radar.
Their track record is for sure.
Unless you're Mindscape or Mind's Eye or whatever that is.
Yeah, but say that Mind's Eye thing, but that was a third-party game that they published, and they actually came out and they were like, "Yeah, we're good publishing our own stuff and third-party stuff from now on." It wasn't the best.
I've read that article where they were kind of let on that they felt like they were bamboozled as well, and they believed in that creator because he was part of that Grand Theft Auto world and his vision and stuff like that. So they were like, I don't know if they're going to stretch out and make that kind of attempt again. So don't let that cloud your judgment on this one. So
was that Leslie Benzies game? That Mind's Eye?
So.
Yeah. That came and went, right? It was that bad of a lemon.
It was that bad.
No confirmation that he was going to go back and fix that game or nothing. And so it's just kind of like the product that it is now. So it's a testament to time.
Maybe like a $10 Balan Wonderworld type deal.
Maybe they've been updating
it, unless you buy a copy of Dragon Quest and it's actually Balan World. So
I would have been so pissed. No. I would have been so pissed. That Switch version of Dragon Quest 3 got an update, right? For Switch 2?
It did.
The resolution still sucks, but the frame rate is much better.
You could go either way. Yep. So they get up the resolution and then take the 30 frames per second, or you can leave it 1080p and do 60 frames per second. So, which at this point, I think all of us, I'm mostly frame rate guy at this point.
100%.
Yeah.
Give me
unless the game looks like straight duty hole.
Give me 720p with a high frame rate on that. Small of a screen.
But that's why
I'm good.
That's why you have your ROG and your Steam Deck, because you can just do that. You know, I always bump it down to like 720. It doesn't have to be 900 or 1080p, and it's like, oh, this runs way better.
And I can still see amazingly.
Yeah,
still see the
screen's 7 inches or 8.8 inches, unless you get the new Lenovo one that was announced today. That's 12.2 inches. That's.
I did see that monster. I was like, holy shit. It's got a Z2 in it, right? Not the Extreme. Just regular.
No,
it's Z2 it is an Extreme? Okay.
Damn. This beats out the ROG Xbox One. This is like straight power. It's like, and on top of that, it's an OLED screen.
Is this thing going to be like $1,500 though?
It's $1,200.
It was 12 was what I saw too.
$1,200 for the 32 gig. I think it's like 1,100 or 1,000 for the 16 gig. But at that point, you might as well just pay the extra 100 or 2 to get that 32 gig. So.
It is straight power. They're going for it. They're like,
it's smart.
We're going to show you how to make
Xbox on marketability, right? So you go for straight power. To some people want that. So I'm not day oneing any of this stuff until I see some performance stuff on here compared to what I already have, because I have stuff that is I can already in the ecosystem that I'm assuming that's just going to cross over because it's Windows based. But I'm not jumping up for an additional 5 or 10 frames per second. That's like it has to be a big performance.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
I remain high on this James Bond game. I think it looks very, very promising.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm itching for an Uncharted. I need to play those two, the Lost Legacy. I need to play the Lost Legacy one. I'm still sitting on an Uncharted. Yeah. And I never finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Lost
finish
Legacy is
that
a good
one.
one too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
I last played it on the Steam Deck. I think I need to install it on the Ally and see if I get a little bit of a boost from the Steam Deck on that one. I think it was either Steam Deck verified or playable. So it did fire up on there, but I think it makes you download both, and that was my issue. I was like, just let me download the one I want to play. I would love to play Uncharted 4 again, but that's not what I'm after. Just let me install the one I'm totally after here. Because PS5, I think, lets you install one or the other. But the Steam SKU, I may be off on that. Yeah,
I don't recall.
But that's pretty much it for that state of play. Moving on, we did get a new game going into the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pass, specifically the mature N64 app. Forsaken 64.
The leaks are real.
I used to see this box art and I had no interest in it whatsoever, and I didn't know until recently that was like a Descent game.
Yeah, it's actually a very, very, very good game, and I always remember the commercial because like the future is forsaken. The future is forsaken.
So it plays like Descent. It's like a 3D piloting, 360 3D style game. The PC version has like the PS1, the Saturn. Did it come out for Saturn? It has like a PS1 and N64 compilation. Brandon, I think I gifted you this one. I think I ended up with it in a bundle or something and sent you. Yeah. That one for PC. It runs at super high frame rates and all that sort of stuff. What makes this mature? What about this is it blood?
This is rated M. I think it's just the violence.
I don't get it, but it's a space shooter. Like there's no.
I think it's just the violence, and if you re-rate it now, it might be different compared to like what's been released. But I think it's just you don't go through all that because you don't have to pay money and get it re-rated and have to go in there and change stuff. And
like Perfect Dark was an M back in the day, and there's no way that's an M-rated game.
You just take the hit now. So, I mean, I would imagine, like you said, majority of those M-rated games on there are probably not really M-rated contenders. So.
No, not in this day and age either. Cesar, you alluded to the leaks being true. Maybe like some fuzzy box art. What other fuzzy box arts were included in those screenshots?
Oh gosh,
I mean, the biggest one was Smash
Brothers.
Smash Brothers.
Donkey Kong 64
is the biggest one. I thought you were going to say the biggest one. Glover's out, right?
It is on modern consoles, but not on the 64 one.
And the EverDrive.
Yeah, it's limited run did a
PS5 Switch one. Yeah.
But then it's also digital, so
some friends down the street that had an N64. It's funny that this is the lineup. They specifically had Super Smash Brothers. That's the first time Russell and I ever played that somewhere. And they had Glover. And they loved the hell out of some Glover. And we ended up playing Glover for some ungodly reason. And it's not bad. It's not a bad game. But they had that N64 and one of those big rear projection TVs. You guys are of the era to remember that.
Yep.
And unless you if you sat right in the right spot, it was beautiful. It was a gorgeous picture. If you were anywhere offset from that thing, it was washed out and faded and looked like booty hole.
It's like dark in certain areas, and it's like you had to like turn your head to go over here.
Yep. And I
had a friend who had like a huge 50-inch one of those. So
this thing was huge. That was the biggest type of screen that you could get then.
Yep.
But
that wasn't a CRT that didn't weigh 8,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm. And I distinctly remember all of us hanging out at this house and sitting in the middle because we even knew then, like, you get off center and it's just, you don't see, like, Kirby. You're trying to get back on the platform on the edge, and Kirby's like, he's trying to get back on in Smash Brothers, and you can't see what's happening, or it's like, it's totally faded out on that side. So I remember us all sitting in the middle of that, playing Smash Brothers and Glover. I have not played Glover in probably since then, which was turn of the century. I can put it that way. It was turn of the century when I was hanging out at that place. So maybe we'll hear about those soon. Smash Brothers and Donkey Kong 64. I think Donkey Kong 64 would be a big one.
Yeah.
But you would have thought they would have done that right before Donkey Kong Bonanza, just to get that whole name out there and more people driven to the service. Maybe the people who love Bonanza will come to the service to play another Donkey Kong game. Maybe that's that whole play.
I mean, they've been on fire releasing a lot of these NSO stuff. I mean, we just saw that the Game Boy Advance one got updated to 1080p. I mean, like they've gone through and updated a lot of these emulators. So it's like I think they're spreading out the releases for a reason. So I mean, it's one of those things like, oh, we know it's coming, but it's like ever since they kind of like figured it out, it's like, oh, we're gonna kick this can down the road now, and that's gonna show you to think you're so smart. Nintendo's usually vindictive sometimes like that.
So VGC notes that Forsaken was originally published by Acclaim. We have an Acclaim show coming up, like a trade show with announcements and stuff.
5 days or 8 days or something. That's coming soon, within the next week or a little over a week. So,
what else do they have? What else does Acclaim have in their IP stable? Is this just kind of like the prelude to what is going to come?
I think they were just mostly a third-party publisher. I don't know what IPs they actually kept on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
They did versions of Mortal Kombat that Midway didn't do.
NBA Jam. Yeah, they were like a Midway third-party support studio almost.
Some of that might have been just because of the whole, Nintendo's limitations on how many games you can publish on there,
Licensing.
So, yeah.
They were sticklers about that back in the day.
But I'm looking at their list of Acclaim games here, and then like the early 80s is just mostly licensed IPs. So I'm going through this list. I don't see anything on there like Airwolf, Rambo, WrestleMania, Knight Rider, Total Recall. A lot of these stuff you had to go Back to the Future 2 and 3 for the NES.
Yeah.
Because they did it on their LJN label.
You saw that on an NES cartridge and you knew it was dog shit.
Punisher,
Bill and Ted's
Excellent Adventure, Roger Clemens MVP, Baseball, Wolverine. It's like Bart Simpson's Escape from Camp Deadly. I mean, I'm looking at this list going through the 90s, and I don't see anything original too often. I hear maybe George Foreman's KO Boxing, but we know that was just a copy of a certain boxing game.
That was a Genesis launch title, right? That was a big Genesis get. Oh no, that NBA was Buster games. Douglas.
Yeah, we got millions of versions of Alien, Spider-Man.
The big Acclaim published titles that we know and love for N64, they were Iguana
NFL
games.
Quarterback Club.
Quarterback Club is a great franchise. But we're not getting ports of those. Russell and I loved Quarterback Club because it had an instant replay. You could, there would be some crazy play and you could immediately go into like an instant replay thing that had full camera controls. You know how we have like photo mode now? That's what you had. You could zoom in and out and forward and reverse and up and down and between the players and just it had crazy camera controls on the N64. I could not believe Quarterback Club. I'm kind of craving some Quarterback Club now.
So, to answer your question, I think pretty much like what you said, the original IPs have been almost released, and a lot of those have been done by Night Dive, like Forsaken, Turok. Most of those are already kind of out there. So
Iguana games, the ones we know.
Yeah. But everything else is like mostly like a third party publisher because it's like Busted Move 4, All Star Baseball 2000, Psychic Force 2012 is it's just a English version of a Japanese game. So they did Pac-Man Special Color Edition, and they did Miss Pac-Man Special Color Edition for Game Boy Color. So and that was only released in Europe. So South Park Rally,
all gravity cubes.
So
add that to the GameCube one. That's an Acclaim game, right?
Which one?
Next week's
all gravity cubes.
What was that? Turok Evolution.
Yeah. Did they do Turok Evolution? I imagine they did. But
did y'all play that on GameCube?
Yes, GameCube, and that's the one we played it primarily on.
Gotcha. Gravity Cube.
They did Crazy Taxi for GameCube and PS2. I mean, they were just mostly a third-party publisher. So, 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker.
I remember 18-wheeler.
Yep, they did do Turok Evolution, but Turok Evolution's IP is no longer owned by them. They sold that to Disney, and then Disney sold it off to somebody else who's doing the new Turok game. So,
dang,
there is a new Turok that looks good. Yeah.
Because remember they did the Turok reboot. Disney did.
Mhm.
They did it under Buena Vista Games, which was
Mhm.
their, adult label stuff for movies. And they're like, oh, we're going to do one for games. And now they just sub-license it out, but it is a Disney franchise. So
How is that Turok? I think I have it for PS3 and 360.
I think I remember seeing it was not as memorable as everybody thought it was. So
I want to say friend of the show
What?
Charles had a good time with it back in the day. But he was also playing random games for achievements.
mm-hmm.
True.
Like, most people did. So looking at it, I don't see there. I mean, there was at Acclaim Studios Austin, so that would be it, right? There's Acclaim Studios Manchester, so those were the internal studios. So I would imagine any of those would probably be in play. But I don't see they did many of them because as Acclaim Studios Austin, they did Turok Rage War, South Park, which is licensed, Quarterback Club, Turok 3, All Star Baseball, NFL Quarterback Club, All Star Baseball, Turok, Vex.
Vex. That's on my Xbox list to get. It's like a 3D platformer.
They've done Arrow the Acrobat, Zero the
Oh my
Kamikaze
God.
Squirrel, but it's like those are already out.
Hero the Acrobat.
Yeah,
Holy
they're already
shit.
out. So like you can get that on Switch and PS4 right now because I think somebody else scooped up that license. So it's like I don't know. I don't see much coming from this Acclaim thing on their back catalog. I see more of like a reinvention of them doing it like a third party publishing as an indie, kind of like a Devolver or Annapurna Interactive, like that type of thing, where like they find these golden darling indies and that name is supposed to get them more recognition, right? Like you look at it and say, oh shit, I haven't heard of Acclaim since the 90s. I'm excited about this, So I think they're going to be their shtick.
We're in that era, right? It's been
it's nostalgia.
the right amount of time.
Nostalgia.
People have disposable income from that generation that want to relive whatever Acclaim meant to them 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he listens to the show, but friend of the show, Joel, many years ago, traded his copy of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for the Super Nintendo for a copy of Arrow the Acrobat for the Super Nintendo. And bemoans this trade. It had been, 10 or 12 years since that happened when I would hear this. I know he would still bring it up if he heard Arrow the Acrobat. He'd be like, I traded a copy of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for Arrow the Acrobat.
Yeah, I still love that excuse from Squaresoft at the time where they said that they did not release the translation for Suikoden Densetsu 3 because of USA Mystic Quest Final Fantasy, because they're like, yeah, it didn't sell. We thought it was a big thing after Secret of Mana, and nobody bought it. And then they, even though the game was fully translated, we saw it was because that came out in the collection later on, which was the original translation. But that was their excuse of shelving that product. So
I need a copy of Vex. I'm looking for one. Watch this be one I'm chasing on eBay and I already have a copy somehow.
But I think we've destroyed this 64 NSO plus one. So look forward to that.
Yeah,
I think it's available now. I think the Japanese release was it? Super Nintendo was a Magical Vacation or Game Boy Advance. It was one of the two.
Game Boy Advance from Brownie Brown.
So I think we only got the sequel on the DS, but this is the OG one. So there's not an English translation on there. So this would be strictly in Japanese if you're able to get it. And so at this point, we're coming up to our September's Game Pass games, which are full in, on fire, let's go, Chris Golion, VGC. And so, early last week, they confirmed some games that were coming out to Game Pass. Coming to Game Pass, whereas available already is I Am Your Beast, as on your Ultimate, PC, and Standard. Nine Souls, another indie darling, is coming to Standard now. I think that was on Ultimate before. The big one that we're all talking about that brought down all the digital stores, which was Hollow Knight Silk Song, which is on Ultimate and PC Game Pass, which is only on the higher tiers, is available now. Cataclysmo for PC, which is also available as of yesterday, and this is on Ultimate and PC Game Pass. My future game of the year, Paw Patrol World, which will appear in 5 more days, which is coming to every version of Game Pass. And then Roadcraft a little bit later on the 16th, which is coming to every version of Game Pass.
Roadcraft.
And that Roadcraft will be console and cloud only. And aforementioned Game of the Year Paw Patrol World will be cloud, PC, and console. So,
is Roadcraft more like Warcraft or Minecraft? Which one is it leaning
I'm looking at it.
Or
I'm looking at
StarCraft?
it, and it's like it looks like something I would have enjoyed as a child in the '80s because it looks like you're driving a bulldozer from on there or something like that. So, outside of that, they remind you that the new DLC for Indiana Jones: The Order of the Giants has released as of yesterday, and that will be part of your Game Pass subscription if you do have one.
Oh,
So you get to play that new expansion Game Pass.
I didn't know that was out. I didn't know it was this soon for some reason.
Yeah, September 4th. I think they announced that at like Gamescom we had the trailer and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate subscribers can also looks like you can unlock a bundle for Skate 3 starting today. It's a sequel to Skate, and it's $21 worth of DLC packs for the 360.
That's
which is
solid.
Don't forget to get that. That's pretty good.
That's a really good deal.
And then September 15th. So we're a little bit late, but you got 10 more days. You can knock out all you need is Help, Wargrove 2, which is like their version of Advanced Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And We Love Katamari Reroll and Royal Reverie. It will be It will be leaving Game Pass on the 15th of this month. So
I need to play.
And of course,
we got Katamari real quick.
Of course, we got a Katamari game coming out this fall, a brand new one. So please support the series.
We love us some Katamari.
We do indeed love Katamari.
Like Rhythm Tengoku, just keep buying. Don't worry about it. Don't think, just buy.
We'll never get another one. If you don't support this Katamari, we'll never get another one.
Hey, we're getting another Katamari. We're getting a brand new Katamari, getting a brand new Rhythm Tengoku. Well, what a year. What a timeline.
20 years later, I'm still buying Tales games. I've never beat a Tales game.
I've beaten them all, so.
I think the furthest I got was in that Fantasia re-release for GBA. I think I played the hell out of that one. It had like voice samples and stuff in it. Last but not least, I have added a story at the very end. I think this kind of came out in between last week and this week's news. This is from gamesindustry.biz. Atari acquires 5 Ubisoft games. We have mentioned over the past probably 6 months to a year. I feel like it really kicked off with it's not Soul Sacrifice. What's the name of that? It's like that. It was a Vita game. Sony gave it to Bandai Namco, I think, to publish on everything else. Freedom Wars. Freedom Wars. We're not doing anything with this. Grab these franchises and you can do something with this, right? So according to this article, there's 5 Ubisoft games that Atari has acquired the IP rights for. What's that?
It's actually worse. So Sony, it owns the rights to Freedom Wars. Ubisoft willingly sold these IPs. So there's usually a bad sign. They don't like have them for money
anymore now.
It's done. They can't just, they're not loaning them out. They're not making any money off of it. They just say, here, sell them, which is typically not a good look for a publisher when you're doing that. Because, I mean, some will argue like, these are lesser known, but it opens Pandora's box, right? So I think that's the argument. Usually it's a good indicator that the publisher is probably not as healthy as you think it is. So unfortunately, a lot of individuality, a lot of the smaller scale games are probably not going to be made anymore because they've doubled down on. We're getting a Rayman 30th anniversary game that comes out next year. We're getting more Assassin's Creed Helix. We're getting more Far Cry. It's like they're just doubling down on their big sellers, which I guess makes sense. But that's why you have all these developers that left and make Clair Obscur, made Stray. That these could have been made internally in Ubisoft, but they didn't greenlight this stuff because the Clair Obscur people didn't want to make another Assassin's Creed. They're like, we want to make a turn-based RPG, and they didn't let them do it. So.
And that stuff can change super fast because I feel like we were just talking about a Sega press briefing where they were going to say, we're going to double down on what makes us money. We're going to make more Persona. We're going to make more Sonic. What was the other? Yakuza. We're going to make more Yakuza. Like that was the big pillars.
Like a Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, like a Dragon series. And now we've got a new guy in Sega that's like, we're going to bring back the old Sega. We're going to risk stuff. We're going to come up with wacky things. We're going to port some of these arcade. We got a new Shinobi and
great new Shinobi that's been highly praised. Hopefully it sells well. So
I have yet to play that, and I think there's a demo out there. I have no excuse. I could be playing the new Shinobi. There's even a cross SKU with Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden, the 2D one that they released kind of in the same time.
There's several cross SKUs with Shinobi. They're trying to get people to buy bundles from other developers, trying to help each other out with this game. So
it's a pretty cool cross promotion stuff. The games that Atari has acquired the IP rights from Ubisoft are these 5 titles: Cold Fear, I Am Alive, Child of Eden, Grow Home, and its sequel, Grow Up. I am familiar with Cold Fear. That is the PS2 and Xbox Resident Evil 4 like that plays
also
over the shoulder.
Very good game.
Yeah.
You can get a modern version of it. It's still available on Steam. I mean, I imagine
I
at some
did
point
not know
that
that was on Steam.
It's less than $10, and I imagine that that copyrights will eventually change to Atari at some point. So
okay. But there's stuff to do in that universe. It was kind of like a Resident Evil 4, like a cargo ship. Like it was a bunch of rain, and it had the same over-the-shoulder mechanic. Yeah, Deadliest Catch, Resident Evil.
Cold Fear, Deadliest Catch.
And Child of Eden is the it was like a Kinect. Yeah, it was a Kinect music game.
Made from the Luminous people, right? I believe.
Yes. Yep, that is correct. I bought a sealed copy off of eBay for like $5 maybe a year or two ago when I was going through a bunch of Kinect games. Just for music licensing and that sort of purpose. I'm not familiar with I Am Alive or Grow Home and Grow Up.
Grow Home and Grow Up are a duology of games where you play a robot who kind of like does platforming in a 3D world. This came out on PS4, 360, Xbox One, I think those, and Steam. I think those are still available on those platforms. Child of Eden is locked on that PS3 360 generation and does not have a PC port. PS3. Because I think they adapted it to the Move controller at some point. And Code Fear, as Richard mentioned before, was a PS2 generational game that made it on Steam as a port. And I Am Alive is from the same studio as Code Fear. It got a lot of repercussions for the studio because they wanted to make another survival horror game, and then Ubisoft stepped in and made them make it into like a weird survival-based game without the horror. So it's like was on PS3 like 360. Yeah. That's on PS3 360 and Steam, which is still available on Steam. So all these games are still available on Steam. Grow Up is on PS4 and Xbox One, and as well as the sequel, Grow Home. So Child of Eden is the only one that they mentioned on here. Like all these games are going to get modern ports, is what they said, and probably future releases. So
I bought that for PS3. I mentioned getting that sealed for 360 for Kinect. It was the PS3 copy that I got sealed. It was super inexpensive.
Is this Shakira?
Who is that?
It is Shakira.
Is it? I can't look away from the pineapples. It's not Shakira.
It is not Shakira. No, it's Shakira adjacent.
Must look away. That Cold Fear game is pretty expensive on PS2 and Xbox. So a Steam or a re-release of this would be really awesome to have it available somewhere else. It
is on Steam. I bought it on sale for $2.99 last week, just to let you know. So.
Holy shit. When you saw the news come out?
No, just before the news.
Wow.
So
it's weird how that stuff happens, right? All these hundreds of thousands of games, and we either mention something or we buy something, and then it's back in the news somehow. It's randomly.
There's like I say, I got on my bullshit where I run on the treadmill, and there was a YouTuber, and I think I sent you a video on there called Culture Vulture, where they were doing like these weird
the lists
games that list things, and that was he did like unknown horror games, and that was on there, and he mentioned on there like the only way to play this easily now is to buy it on Steam, and I added to my list, and it just magically went on sale the next week over for $2.99 before they made this announcement. I
have it for the XBOX. Is there a guide for Cold Fear? There's one for Fear Effect based off these search results. But that's it for news. I wanted to add that last bit in there. So, do you recommend getting those on Steam before the rights change over? Are they going to want more for those?
I don't think they're going anywhere. I mean, it sounds like Atari owns Night Dive. I got a good indication that Night Dive is probably going to be on their list of remasters to the new consoles. So I think they would. I mean, I think Cold Fear will stay on Steam. I think you will get a new looking version of it that's playable on PS5 and Switch 2 and
Wow.
series consoles. So
It's Steam Deck playable. That's pretty
it
cool.
plays well. Yeah.
Cold Fear.
It's like $10, right? Regular price, I believe. It's not super expensive.
Yeah. Let's go into games played. We all streamed and played some Delta Force last Saturday. Some more good rounds. Like, the game is still awesome, right? I think that'll be the Saturday play for a while, I think. Still learning like the specials of the characters, and I don't know if there's any more to add from what we added last week or we talked about. Definitely go try out Bravo Force. Maybe we get Buish on this time. Get Buish Bravo Forcing it with us. Bravo Force. Delta Forcing.
Delta Force.
Why did I make it Bravo Force? Where did
I
that come from?
thought we were going somewhere with this.
Rio Bravo Force.
Yeah.
No, definitely Delta Force. Free to play. And I was telling a coworker about it. Like, we had a good time with this. And we played another mode this time. And I don't think this one was as good. It was like an east to west mode or something. There was a different.
Ooh, I can't remember what it's called.
I can't
I think we have yet to try all these modes with the fourth, right? So we always have like
Right.
our fourth is just running around, not reviving us. Sometimes we get random people that's like, I mean, this round we played this week had actual people reviving us, right? Actually going around and reviving us. So it was like, that made it a little bit easier. So I think it's just getting the right group of people probably, and then, just being cohesive and syncing together, and having conversations on there. Because, I wasn't 100% feeling well that day either. So I wasn't 100% in my head in the game. So, it's one of those ones that you really have to communicate like, hey, I'm down, and you don't go too far, don't lone wolf it. Because if I can't get to you easily, then you're just going to have to just go ahead and take yourself out. So,
yeah, we do need a fourth. We won some rounds though. It wasn't some of our Saturday streams where we get our teeth kicked in forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. That is actually all I have played. I will touch on something my kids have been playing, and then I'll show off a game acquired and whether or not I'm going to continue that acquisition or not. So I talked last week about my kids playing the Power Pad, the NES Power Pad. And I was like, all right, there's a whole series, late 90s and early 2000s. You could get a dance pad, and there were dance games. You could play various things on that. And it's like, okay, Dad, let's try that out. And they had a friend over Sunday. So a friend was here Sunday. And it's like, okay, let's break this thing out. So they took turns. This is, oh God, they drug it back in there. This is Disney Dance Dance Revolution for the PlayStation 1. And they are playing this on a brand new Mad Catz PS2 dance pad. And that thing worked flawlessly. No issues. It's been in a box for, I guess, 20 years now at this point. And this Dance Dance Revolution Disney features such Disney hits as Zippity Doo Dah. And there's like a Mickey Mouse March. And I can't remember what else they played, but they're like, it's like a club remix of these songs, right? So in the background, you have like Chip and Dale, and you have various Disney characters as DJs, and you have like these cartoon 2D sprite DJs in the background. So they started getting the hang of DDR, and I was like, you guys are doing it. Like, you're really after this. And so I know I have a second pad somewhere. I can't find the second fucking pad, and I'm pricing them on eBay, and I'm doing all this. And it strikes me, like, I bought a bunch of SingStar stuff over the years. Like, you guys are dancing, and that's fun, but you're sharing the pad, and you're having to alternate songs and see who can beat the high score. Basically what we would do back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Beat the score on this song. Put it on a higher difficulty, and they did that for a couple rounds. And that's a great rendition of DDR. That Disney one is very good. We probably need a code. It's my memory card with nothing on it, so we probably need a good code to unlock everything. I know there's more songs on there. So we grabbed SingStar with High School Musical, Sing It or Sing Party or something like that. So Buish actually found this maybe a year or so ago at a discount store, somewhat adjacent to previous place of occupation. And it was a sealed High School Musical SingStar version. And the kids love High School Musical. So here we go. Pop this thing in. And it was trying to figure out. So the two microphones go into like this connector box, almost like we're kind of used to it with like PSVR 1 and 2, right? Where we have like this, well, PSVR 2 doesn't have it, but you still have a cable coming out, but like a processing box kind of thing. So the microphones go into that, and then it goes USB into the front of the PS2. And I was like, we'll see what this PS2 USB bandwidth can handle. I know it can't be a whole lot for back in the day. This is pretty old technology. And then you still need a controller to like go through the menus and select songs and all that. They played this game for like 3 hours, going over all these different songs, and we had planned to do something in the next room. So we're like watching TV and all this kind of stuff, and we hear this just straight crooning in the room adjacent, right? And I'm like, this is what it's all about. This is why I have all of this old shit. That's why I have rounded up all this madness stuff, is so that they could like play these old karaoke games on a CRT with dedicated bookshelf speakers. Like, it sounds good. And they were just belting away at these they love the High School Musical movies. I guess they're timeless because these came out way before they were born. And they popped that in, and they know all these songs. So now I've got a stack. I'm looking at the stack. I've got like SingStar 80s, SingStar 90s, SingStar Country. Like, I've got this big stack of discs. It's like, I've been sitting on these. Whenever you guys want to play them, they're all here. And also Disney Sing It, which is a sealed copy that I'm looking at from Walmart with a $1 sticker on the front of it. So apparently Walmart sold me a copy of Disney Sing It for the PS2 sealed for $1 at some point. So like, do I open that? How much is a sealed copy of Disney Sing It for the PS2? What's the value of that in the year of our Lord 2025? But they had a fucking blast, and it was so cool hearing them go through it and then go back to the menu and like pick a new song and just go in here. And it was a duet, so they got to go back and forth with the two microphones, and it was so cool. I felt validated for having all this old bullshit for all these years, right? And carrying this stuff around. Even though Buish found this at that store. All right, here's my game acquired, and I guess we'll have a slight discussion about this. We don't have to talk about it for too long, but I definitely, as friends and collectors, I need you guys' input. It is based off the standee that you see recently moved into my prominent background. Oh, some listeners may not know the madness involved with said game acquired. But we have here one Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater Collector's Edition, which I was very hyped to be able to purchase. I get alerts for everything, right? Like PS5, Switch 2, Tron, 4K Blu-rays. We're able to pretty much grab anything when we see those listings go live based off of prominent individuals that will post on Threads or Blue Sky or whatever, right? So this one had evaded me. And I think I asked you guys last week, like, hey, if you see it pop up, let me know. And Cesar sent me one at GameStop. I was like, I don't even want to give GameStop my money, but they're the only place that I can see it. And maybe this was a week and a half ago, because we talked about this last week after the show, I think. So there is a diorama included in this of the start of the Virtuous mission at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid.
Virtuous mission.
Delta in this one. Virtuous mission.
Virtual mission. No.
Virtuous mission.
So included in said collector's edition, you get the Terrarium diorama, the game, a Halo jump patch, which is the way he enters the jungle, metal game case, a steelbook, I guess, for those steelbook psychos out there, a Fox patch, and Snake's ID card lanyard. However, as I've discovered in the past 8 to 10 days, the figure of Snake inside there looks like dog shit. It's horrible. Someone called him Chuck Norris Snake, and I can't unsee Chuck Norris Snake on that figure. It does not look like
Resident Evil Giraffe. Resident Evil Giraffe again.
Yes, you can't unsee it. So this is still an unopened collector's edition copy.
It's not my name.
What's that?
It's not my name.
It's not my name. I was kind of monitoring sold listings because there are Metal Gear collectors out there. I consider myself a big fan of the franchise. I have a sealed copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 collector, Metal Gear Solid 5 collector. It felt like something for me to do for this franchise, but the way they shit out that figure, it's almost like, do I show them that it's not worth supporting? Do I vote with my wallet that direction and just get the game? As Cesar pointed out, this is $200. So the regular SKU is it 70?
I believe so.
So the game is 70. I'm paying $130 for a patch, a steel book, another patch, an ID card lanyard, and a shit terrarium featuring Chuck Norris. And I don't know if that validates $130, as Cesar was saying last week.
That other edition that actually had like that bust of Snake in there, that one was worth it.
That figure looked amazing. Oh, that looks
very good
figure. And you guys mentioned the amiibo, and I went and looked at the amiibo, and I was like, yeah, that's Solid Snake. That looks amazing. Yes, this is not Solid Snake, but this is the direct
Jake
lineage.
the Snake.
Yeah, Jake the Snake. What would you guys do? Would you hold on to that, pop the game out, and just keep all the bullshit? Would you return it?
I would. If you're gonna keep it, I would never open that box.
Oh my
If you open that box, then at that point, it's not worth keeping.
But I want to play this game, so then I'm out $270. Where are we at there? Or do I just pop in Blue Point's excellent PS3 or 3DS? The 3DS one's not bad. I didn't hate the 3DS copy of Snake Eater. Do I get my fix?
Yeah. You have a Vita copy.
I do have it for Vita. Yep.
Transferring.
Yep. Does use transferring. And I've thought about
I played it.
I've thought about starting with the first game and playing through those first 3 and 4 and 5 in that order, but I need something to stream again. I had so much fun playing Resistance. I just need to pop something else back in, but again, let us know in the comments. I hate even saying that, but I'm trying to drive community engagement. Let me know, would you keep the $200 Chuck Norris figure for Metal Gear Solid 3 as a Metal Gear Solid collector? Or would you return this and use the cash for regular copy of the SKU?
Richard needs to know. He needs to know, just like Enrique Iglesias.
I need to know. I need to know who that singer was at halftime, because damn. Very Shakira-esque. But that is it for me. My kids played a bunch of DDR on the PS2 and some karaoke games on there, including High School Musical. Sing. I can't see what that second word is. I could see the box. Sing Day? Sing Dance? Sing Big? Either way, it's the High School Musical karaoke game for the PS2. Weish says F yes, keep Chuck Norris, because Chuck Norris would keep Chuck Norris. It looks like dog shit, though, Weish. I don't think you quite understand.
Did you send him the picture, too? Hold on.
No, he's never played a Metal Gear Solid game. We need to rectify that. Would you have, you would have Weish play them in release order, right? Cesar, that's your stance?
Yeah.
This one means a lot more if you've played it after 1 and 2. At least 1. God, they're such good fucking games. Have you played any more of it, Cesar? Are we going to hand it off to you for an update?
I mean, I played a little bit more of it. I mean, not too much further because I diverged into other uncharted waters, and I haven't had much time, so.
And this is the best way to play it, right? This is better than PS2
it is
or Subsistence.
a carbon copy. This is a carbon copy of 3. Nothing has really been changed. It's just you're in Unreal Engine 5, so it stays true to the source material. It's like a love letter to what was already great about it, outside of that dream sequence, which was something they kind of added in there.
Mm-hmm.
But that was also because another like shout out to Metal Gear Rising, just because Platinum never officially made a sequel to it, but.
You think we'll get one? Is there? I mean, we could get one with the Cyborg Ninja, not with Raiden. I mean, we could get one with Jaeger, Frank Jaeger. Is it? Frank
at
Jaeger?
this point, they've made the comment with this game sells well, then they would do more remakes. And I mean, we saw that it sold 1 million copies digitally and physically in the first 24 hours. So that's usually a good sign that we would get something new in that remake universe, kind of like how things are going for a remake for Silent Hill 1 after Silent Hill 2 did so well. So but yeah, I mean, I haven't really played too much of Metal Gear Solid 3. I think the last I mentioned, I'm still in the Virtuous mission. I finally lost contact to Boss, who is a liaison for this mission, kind of in a similar fashion where I don't want to ruin it for somebody,
Boss.
but another character does something similar in the original Metal Gear Solid, where they're there as advice and they just suddenly
Turncoat.
flip the story, flip the script.
Yeah.
And so I just reunited with Sokolov. You just had your first encounter with a young Ocelot, and Sokolov has run off, and this is where basically I'm at the far tail conclusion of the Virtuous mission. So if it's interesting, because if you play this series before, this, as you mentioned before, this game is very cinematic based, and this is probably more cinematic than all of them. So like, there's very, very little playing in this Virtuous Mission 1. It doesn't really give you the keys of the kingdom until after the prologue has been done. So it's kind of like a prologue where just like the training and you get to feel the camouflage. I do note that I do enjoy playing on the new style, so which is more of Gears a la over the shoulder. Accessing the codec is done with the down pad on the D-pad. You're able to change your weapons on the right on the D-pad, left on the D-pad for items, and it makes it a lot more smoother transition for stuff. Like I don't have to go through the codecs as I press down and just use my right analog stick and just choose the person and it calls and saves. It's a lot more. It's fluid. It's pretty much the only thing that really changes in this game. I'll make a note on there. Outside of it looks graphically, it looks amazing. So going in there and running into killing crocodiles and all that kind of stuff there. You can still play in the old school one, which is like the over the top head. That's still available on there. But
yeah,
I am playing on the new style. You can go either way. So they didn't force it on you. So. Outside of that, let's talk about some homages to gaming, right? So I've played a little more about Darksiders War Mastered, and now I see what everybody's talking about, because it's straight. When I mentioned last time where I had to go base off these different locations, and this first boss is like a Tiamat, it's a giant bat, and so as I go into this castle, it is a straight carbon copy of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. You get a setup, you find a dungeon map. There are doors locked with keys that you get from treasure chests or from enemies that you beat. And you get a device that is like a shuriken or a boomerang that is like your hook shot. And that is your gimmick for the dungeon. You have to use that device to traverse it to get to the next level.
I have to give this game another shot.
It is fucking glorious. I'm like, it's like playing like Ocarina of Time again. Even with what I told you with the targeting system and just going around with the right stick and just swapping over. It's undated Legend of Zelda 64.
Got to play this again.
So I'm on the
What are you playing on?
PS4. I think I had a digital copy on that one, so it was easier. But I've had multiple copies. Brant could play it on Switch. I think it was like $10 on Switch at some point physically.
Was that a good copy? Was that a good? That like the PS4 and Xbox One? Is that the remaster? Whatever they call that?
War Mastered. Yeah. It's so far I've enjoyed the hell out of this game. It's great. So I'm at the boss of that dungeon in Tiamat, where you have to use that hook shot ability to get the boss down and to do your 3 attacks. So it's unapologetically Legend of Zelda. So if you're a big fan of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, this game is up your alley. It seems like every one of these games, when I read on there, because I was curious to see if they followed this trend on all of them, but apparently they do the game developer is interesting on this one, because it's like they tend to change it up. So like Darksiders 3 was not well received, but it's not the Legend of Zelda clone. It's like they did it in Brant's other favorite genre. Darksiders 3 is a Metroidvania all the way through. So it's like a 3D Metroidvania, Castlevania Lords of Shadow a la style. So it's like they seem to do some kind of popular game mechanic and go all in on it from what I can see on there. So. But yeah, I'm at the end of the first dungeon. I'm finding the boss battle on there. I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. It's a lot of fun. You can argue that the story is probably the weakest part. It's a lot of convoluted stuff going on there. It's like you're getting dragged along just to fulfill this council to figure out how the apocalypse started. And so there's like, it's still the very beginning. They're kind of setting up the pieces of the story. So nothing really gut wrenching has happened outside of like you're supporting demons, which was a no in the past, but now you have demons you have common grounds with because you have demons that hate other demons because they got screwed over in this whole mistaken takeover that wasn't supposed to happen yet. So like it hasn't unfurled yet in this first dungeon. So I imagine it's going to get better as I go through. But yeah, so far thoroughly enjoying it. Great game. Outside of that, I've played Hirogami, which is a game that just came out yesterday on PlayStation 5 and on Steam. And this is like this is being developed by Namco Bandai Studios Malaysia and Singapore. And for whatever reason, they did not publish this. There's a new publisher called Kakakihashi Games. And this is basically like Tearaway. This is like a new Tearaway. It's a platformer that's like Tearaway, where you use a control character that's like origami based. And he has like this divine fan that he uses to go around and purges like these corrupted. Like the story starts off, he's in a village and he knows it's not going to be peaceful all the time. There's like corruption that kind of goes around and there's like glitches and stuff like that. And they all of a sudden take over and they attack the village. So he runs back to this village and it gives you this little tutorial. And this is like prologue level 0. And you go through and it shows you how to use the mechanics in the game where there's different techniques tied to different buttons. So square, for example, uses a fan where he can use to attack enemies. Triangle is something where he can build other origami stuff like bridges, other devices you need to traverse the game on there. And then you have circle, which is a ability to grab items and use it. I haven't really utilize it that often. And then you have the cross button, which is just basically utilized for jumping and double jump. And as the story goes through, he's talking to a village elder, and then you're trying to get back to the village that's being attacked. And it basically is some kind of like big corruption thing that's happening with the world on there that he was not looking forward to. So apparently you get this whole main character. His name eludes me. I'm not going to sit here and try to figure it out and waste any more time. But he's not a typical warrior. He's like a ceremonial dancer that somehow was blessed with the sacred fan. Like got kind of like sucked into it. It's kind of like a Zenitsu, where he's like a coward but has a strong ability somehow, but doesn't want to rely on it too much because he doesn't believe in himself. But and I'm referring to Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, if people are not familiar with that. I know Richard is, and possibly Brant. So as I've gone through, I've gotten to the part of the game where the villagers, some of them are safe, and then some of them have to be rescued. So then that was just the prologue. It kind of just leads you through there. You attack basic enemies. Some of the enemies will attack you back. There's certain objectives to the game where you have to collect so many amounts of paper. And you can get to these little shrines and the paper you collected, you can lose some of it. Like you can use like 100 sheets of that paper to refill your health. And so if you get hit on there, and then they also respawn there. So like you get this whole backstory about you have to save the villagers and stop the corruption. And then it opens up to like a top-down overview of this world that looks like it reminds me of Chrono Trigger, where you had like the overview map from really, really high up. And so you can kind of run around and interact with some of the environment on there. And then you just go to the next level. It's like level 1-1. And you go in there and it gives you objectives like collect 1,500 pieces of paper or collect this amount of gold. And, and they give you hidden objectives like don't get hit or find the hidden areas and to 100% that level. And so it's like you're just going through there. It's giving you different platform abilities where it throws different enemies on there, different difficulties depending on the check marks you need to complete the level. And this is the very beginning of the game. I'm only on 1-1, so I probably started playing it earlier today. I was like, I'm gonna give it a try, and I put probably about a good hour into it. And so, like I said, I've enjoyed the time I've had with this so far. Seems like too terribly difficult, but it does move well with the eyes. It's like a mixture of like claymation, origami based stuff on there. And it's like it moves well. It plays very well. And so I think it's $29.99 on PS5 and on Steam, and that came out as of the 3rd. It looks like it. So
what's the name of that one again?
Hirogami. Hirogami.
It was in one of the last state of plays, I think, and we all commented on it.
There's a demo on Steam
because it looked really good.
There is a demo on Steam. The next one I'll talk about is another new release. It's also a demo available on multiple consoles, so if you want to try it out, that's if you like Souls-like games. This little caveat, I know some of us do not prefer that. So this game is called Hell Is Us. It just recently came out. I got interested into it because when I was reading about it, it's a typical more of a homage to Resident Evil from the PlayStation days, where it's a Souls-based game, but it's not overly difficult. There's not really bosses in the games. There is tough enemies. They do repopulate, but his name escapes me too. I apologize, guys. But you play the MC who is breaking back into a country where he was sent away from his mom as a child, and he's trying to find his parents. So it has this mysterious building on there, like he's captured by this country, and they're interrogating him with a truth serum, and they're asking like, "How'd you get in? How'd you get out the first time? Like, what are you doing here? Why'd you come back?" And he kind of just goes in and is explaining this backstory about what he's doing. He's trying to find his parents that have been left behind, and this country's been wrecked through a civil war. And so it's a mystery-based game for as you go in there. There is some combat-based stuff on there. And I say it's Souls-like, but there's some stuff is difficult, but it's not tried to be too punishing, and there's difficulty levels. So, but what it encourages you to do is it encourages you to build up lore. It's big on it wants you to interact with the environment around there. You'll look at stuff like different writings and stuff like that, and you get artifacts, and like some of that stuff is not going to be readily available for you to decipher. You have to find books and talk to villagers and build up this. This is building up this whole mysterious aroma about what's truly going on in this country, and it expects you to kind of like put it all together, kind of like the original Resident Evil 1, where like Resident Evil kind of moved towards more action based, but Resident Evil 1 encouraged you to like explore the mansion and find these pieces of lore and story and interact with these characters, and each character told you a different story. It's a lot of homage to that one. I probably about a good hour in that one. There is a demo of that available on almost everything. So if you're not sure if Souls-like is your thing, and you're like, but I do think the air of mystery on there is great. There is difficulties and you can lower it down, so you're not forced to fight on a higher difficulty and make it not fun for some people, which it would not be. And I've enjoyed my time on there. It's a slow sink, so it's not going to grab you and pull you along something quick. It's not like a Keanu Reeves version of Speed where you're like, it's not that type of thriller. So, but I do enjoy the time on there, and so I'm playing this on PC. That was the cheapest version I could find. You can get keys out there for under $35. I think it's like $60 on console. So, Darksiders, I think it's been available as a PlayStation Plus title at some point. So if you have that, everybody check that and see if it's something you claimed. And so I don't want to take up any more of our time, but this one is my game and my show. I talked to Renee about this before he went to do his DoorDash, which is what he's doing right now. And I told Renee, I know you've been pretty, I know you're a survival horror fan. Bloober Team just came out with a new game. I know you've come around on Silent Hill 2. You like that one, but like, how would you like to play another Dead Space? And so he's like, I would love to play another Dead Space. Chronos is unapologetically Dead Space. It is dead fucking space. It is so fucking good. I put like 3 hours on there. Plays fantastic on Steam Deck. It's Steam Deck verified. It does not play too long, ROG. I went in there and I changed the settings to not hit below 30, and it hits a pretty solid 45. There's some stuttering in there, but it's a very playable version. But Chronos is so fucking good. You land down in like this little looks like a water contraption in like this ghost hellish landscape town, and they call you the Traveler. And then this computer on there, which sounds like GLaDOS, lets you know that, hey, the Traveler before you is dead. I need you to go get the information off of it so you can carry on the mission. And so it just throws you into the game. And as you go through there, it gives you like a ink blot test. Like, this is like animals are fighting.
Yeah.
Does it look like something?
Right.
So it does like personality-based stuff that doesn't really allude to what has been meant to that yet, or what it even equates to. But it starts out off in the beginning, and the Traveler, I mean, all you know is you can tell based off the voice is female. It doesn't seem like it's too intelligent, my understanding, because it talks and grunts, and I don't know if it's because it was just awakened or something like that. So it's like this game is coming out very slowly. And then you pick up this device that looks just like the fucking gun for Dead Space, which transforms into a thing where you can punch and also transform into a gun. And so it gives you the same ability,
thing.
Basically, you're going to hit L1, R1, and you use it to shoot, and you can charge up your attack. It's unapologetically a Dead Space. all the way through. You're in this suit that's just like Dead Space as you're going through there, and you find up these little things where you can level up the suit, level up your gun, and as you go through, you find out you're in this version of Poland, which is some people may not enjoy this part, but it's similar to like the pandemic where they suffered some kind of sickness has gone through, and like you get these stories from newspapers and writings from children like, oh, they canceled school today, they told us all to stay at home, and oh, my dad got super sick and they locked him in the room, and my mom told me to don't go see your dad, and then my mom left to go get help, and she hasn't been back in 3 days, but my dad keeps calling my name, so I'm going to probably go in there, and like they give you different like as you go through, you find all this stuff on there, so you transverse on there, and then you find these monsters that used to be human, that looks just like those necromorphs from Dead Space, and you have the same ability to punch and stomp and everything. You stomp them, and it breaks apart, and that way they can't get back up. But they have the ability to merge into each other and to make even a stronger version on there. And it is Resident Evil-esque that you have very limited ammo. You have very limited ammo. You have to find chemicals to create ammo, and you have to decide, all right, am I going to create ammo or am I going to create health? And so 2 or 3 hits, your ass is dead, just like Dead Space. So it is unapologetically Dead Space. I mean, I haven't gotten to any of that part of the story. I probably 2 hours into it. I'm slowly making my way to the Traveler I'm replacing to get the data to carry on my mission. And so as I go through, you get more exposure to this world. Chronos is a great fucking game. I am enjoying it. It's 100% Halloween, October. It's straight horror. It looks great. I think
Chronos,
right now
the New Dawn.
The New Dawn.
Okay.
I think it's available digitally as of today on Steam, GOG, PS5, and it surprisingly plays very well Switch 2. If you want to get something on your Switch 2 that is horror-based, it plays great. The physical copy for PS5 comes out next week, or 2 weeks actually, and then there's a game key card version on Switch 2 that comes out the same day. I think it's like the 19th or something like that. But it plays. I decided to get the Steam Deck one because it was cheaper. It was right around the $30 range when I bought it, or higher 30s. And it looks fucking fantastic on the OLED. That was the selling point, because they said it just does look a little murky on the Switch one. They said you can fix it. You got to go in there and kind of lower the gamma. And they said on the Switch 2 one there probably has to be some patches, because they said you have to kind of mess with your accelerator for the movement, because they said the movement's kind of laggy. So you have to like kind of change some of the settings on there to make it move a little bit more smoother. It doesn't seem to be do that. I think it was just Steam Deck verified. It works right out the box. I just made some changes to where I told it to
Steam Deck verified.
I lower the resolution, and I told it to hit 60 frames per second, because it does drop a little bit below at certain parts if you don't. So if you run it too high. But yep, great fucking game. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Damn. It's awesome as hell. It's great to play something that's like Dead Space and do it right. It's good. It's so good. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Killing it. Yeah.
And it's original game. I mean, they're using Dead Space as a blueprint so far. I haven't gotten to the gimmick yet. Like I said, I kind of looked ahead on there, and there's some time-based gimmick stuff on here, kind of like what they did with the Medium, where you kind of traverse different worlds. There's that bit that kind of hits in there too that they kind of pull from. I'm kind of excited to see that soon, or how that even equates to in this game.
Right.
But yeah, that's it from me. I'll pass this over to Brent. I've talked your ears off enough. So I'll go over it again as like I've revisited Darksiders War Master, which is your new version of Legend of Zelda, Hirogami, which is a great version of Tearaway, Hell is Us, which is a carry-on of the Resident Evil lore of the old days, and then Chronos, which is your Dead Space new version of Dead Space. So
some very good stuff.
Great rundown. Yep. Killed it.
All right, I'm gonna try to get through these real quick. First off, still playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Actually finished it.
Oh,
so
has that been the longest one in a while? Is that the lengthiest campaign that you've played?
Yeah, this one, the campaign definitely was a little bit longer, but of course, it's so much fun to just get lost at sea and go exploring and upgrade your stuff. So last week I talked about that we were looking for the Sage again. Since the beginning of this game, we're tracking down the Sage. He's supposed to be on this slave ship called the Princess. We went to Kingston. Of course, you find the Templars are there trying to track him down too. You eavesdrop on them, find out that the Princess got actually attacked by some pirates, and they've tracked down that it's supposed to be somewhere off the coast of Africa. So they're going to send some privateers over to get the sage. And as you're eavesdropping and sneaking in on them, one of the gentlemen called Benjamin Hornigold was a pirate that took the king's pardon. He sees your ship and he goes, "Oh, I see your ship out here. Where you at, Edward? I know you're listening." And so he calls you out, and you have to fight off a bunch of Templar guards and run off and try and beat their privateers to the coast of Africa. You get there, of course. They've already gotten there first. But you do catch up with the sage, who we learn. Yeah. We learn his full name is Bartholomew Roberts, or Black Bart, as he preferred to be called. And he agrees to lead you to the, or you help him out, save him from, him and the people he was traveling with, his crew, on this island. And he agrees to lead you to the observatory, of course, for a price, because he himself is a pirate now. And what's the price? He wants a certain special ship with a certain special cargo, which happens to be blood vials, which is how we learn that it's how we learn that the observatory works. In order to actually see anybody anywhere, you actually have to have a sample of their blood. So the Templars, as part of their pact, all gave each other a sample of each other's blood, as well as they've collected some other samples from other pirates and things like that. And they were trying to get one from King George and other people in order to spy on whoever they wanted to. So you go to meet Bartholomew in order to go to the observatory after you've pilfered that ship.
Mm-hmm.
And the same gentleman from before, Hornigold, has trailed your ship, so you wind up having to have a naval battle with him, board his ship, and kill him off so he doesn't follow you to the observatory. But eventually you do get led to the island where the observatory is. It's teeming with natives who guard this place because it's like this sacred place. So you have to go through the jungle and kind of clear them out. And as soon as you actually get to the observatory part, Roberts opens it up because he's the only one that can open it. And then he shoots the other pirates that are with him from his crew. And Edwards, of course, okay, what the hell? And pulls out his pistol and he's like, no, don't worry. They were too weak for what comes next. They wouldn't comprehend this. I think you're going to be okay.
It's like the Ark of the Covenant they're about to open.
Yeah. So he takes you in there. He starts showing you this, starts showing you how it works, where you take these little cube shaped blood vials and put them into this skull, and it does this projection to where you see the person and what they're doing and all this. And Edward's like, oh, this is witchcraft. What the heck is this? How is this working?
Where'd this come from?
The sage is trying to tell him, no, this was made by people that came way before. They were beautiful people, and basically all those ancients from the other Assassin's Creed games that we knew about. But after he finishes the demonstration, he says that he fulfilled his word. he led you here and showed it to you, and this is pretty much it. And he knocks you off the ledge, trying to kill you, and so you have to get up and try and escape. Of course, the door closes, a la Indiana Jones style. So you have to climb up and out and find another way out. Of course, you get injured on your way out, but eventually you wind back up on the beach as you watch your ship sailing away. Presumably because they, saw Roberts come out and not you. And he's on the beach. You come out. You're slowly losing health, and he's out there giving his guys a speech. And he sees you, comes over to you, and you're, kind of losing consciousness. And he's like, leans over and he's talking to you, and he's like saying, he likes and respects you, but he was never going to like work with you, and in fact he's gonna collect the bounty on your head. So
Damn.
You wake up. It cuts to it actually cuts to back outside of the Animus, where your present day character is basically in what they call the bunker, and it's basically a glorified cell. You're in a locked room. You've got, a TV,
Asbertos, or whatever this name of this place is.
Abstergo.
Almost said asbestos.
Close.
You've got a TV. You've got a bed. You've got an office space.
And all these are
all
good
this
things.
stuff. It's basically like a rectangular based room with like the small back half being a full bath.
Nice. I'll move there today. How much? How much per month?
And the your team lead, comes on the TV and is like, sorry for this, but we've had so many security breaches. This is just a precaution. It's temporary, yada yada yada. And as soon as she stops talking to you, you get the mysterious IT guy that keeps telling you to do all these hacks and stuff for him go in your ear, and he says, "Hey, I need you to go out here. We're going to cover your tracks. I need you to get into the server. We're going to kind of try to delete some things so they're not on to you." You go all the way through this, go to it, only to just like watch some stupid like part of a trailer for this pirate thing that Abstergo's working on as part of their entertainment initiative. Followed by a vision of Juno, which is the ancient entity that came out after Desmond died. She was released, but apparently she's living, I don't know, as Data or something now.
Like a Cortana type figure?
Almost. She's like Spirit and
the ghost
Data
in the machine.
And kind of. And she says, she recognizes that you're, kind of like Desmond, but you're not exactly like him, and that there's still so much to do. There's more artifacts to find, more, all sorts of things, and she's not yet ready to inherit a organic host. And she disappears. And then the IT guy flips out. He's like, "She was supposed to take over you. She was supposed to be here. This was the whole point of this." And so after he stops yelling, you just wind up going back to your little cell and getting in the Animus. So back in, you're in Port Royal, in the prison there. It starts off with Mary Reed and Anne Bonny being put on trial, which of course are two of your pirate friends. Edward's kind of brought out into the gallery while they're being tried for their acts of piracy. And as they sit him down, the last two Templars that are still alive come and sit behind him and go, "Hey, we know you were working with the Sage.
Right.
We know you were working with Roberts. Just tell us where the observatory is, and you don't have to die in here. You know, we can help you." And he basically tells them to piss off. Which then, of course, cuts to months later, and he's in a gibbet or a gibbet, hanging in one of those little, human-sized cages that they put pirates in, and you've got the guards standing there, and they're kind of taunting you.
In every pirate thing ever is those cages,
right? And you can just like rattle the cage a little bit, and they yell at you. But while you do that, there's there's an assassin walking in the background, and he's slowly taking out the guards, and he frees you, and that allows you to go free Marion Anne. But you go through, you're able to free Anne, but Mary has become ill, among some other things. And she winds up dying.
Oh.
And after this, Edward's obviously, he's pretty upset. And
as one would be.
He escapes. The assassin that helped him escape and Anne are at a boat, waiting, and they're like, what happened? Is she okay? And he's, no, she's gone. And the assassin tells him, he goes, I don't know where you're going from here, but he gives him back the outfit, the assassin's outfit, and he goes, you haven't earned this, but he's like, I think it's about time you wear this with some purpose. And then it cuts to Edward in a bar, reeling from the loss of his friends, his crew, and Mary. He's lost. He's trying to drink his problems away, and he's having these hallucinations and visions because he's not really the best person. He's we learned, from a little bit of his backstory that, he was married or is married, but he never held down a job. He always had like this ambition, but never made anything of it. And it was always, oh, if I just do this, this is going to be our big break. If I just go do this, this is the one, and she's like, why don't you just, my father's got something you can do and it'll be good and
settle down.
It'll be steady.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I'm telling you, I'll go do this and we'll be set up for life and we'll be rich. And so he winds up leaving her to go be a privateer as a pirate. He killed this assassin and he sold the assassins out just to try and get a reward. And when he wasn't happy with that reward, he's chasing down this sage to try and get set up to live like a king. And
kind of an anti-hero.
So he's lived selfishly, and he's lost everything. So in part of that, in his drunken haze, he's seeing visions of all of I'd say kind of a la the ghosts of Christmas past and future, seeing the error of his ways.
All these things flash in front of him, yeah.
And
missteps.
He kind of comes out of it and is like, I kind of do need to. I kind of need to change something. He wakes up on a beach, actually by his old quartermaster of his ship, and he's like, "Wow." I've kind of got mixed feelings. He goes, "Because I'm happy to see you, but also the last time I saw you, you were sailing away from me, leaving me stranded." And he tells him, he goes, I think it's time you go really visit the assassins and go talk to them for real. So he goes, only to realize that they've been attacked again. And this is again because he's sold them out, gave away their information. So he does decide that he's going to, buckle down and try and make things right. He's going to track down these last 2 Templars and track down the Sage and make sure that all of this is brought to an end.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part where you have to infiltrate a party, and you kill an Italian diplomat disguised as him and infiltrate a party to kill the first guy. He gives you Robert's possible location. Then you track Roberts down, have a huge naval battle, board the boat, kill him, and get the little skull that he has that actually lets you see people. And what everybody's doing. And then you are going to track down the last guy. So you go, it leads you back to Havana, where the game started and where you met him.
Yeah.
But it winds up being, it's a false flag. They have a guy just dressed up as him, and you wind up having to fight and kill his guard. To figure out where he's at, and he's already fled, and he's figured out the location of the observatory, and he's going there to try and claim it, not knowing that you technically have the piece that he needs already. And so the last bit of the game is you going there, tracking him down, fighting these guards while the observatory, because the observatory already has its own little booby traps. The booby traps are going off. And then you just go and take him down. And after that, the game...
It's a lot of cross... What's the term? They keep double crossing each other. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's pirates.
Yeah. True.
It's all pirates.
Kind of like Uncharted with their thief stuff.
Right. So at the very end, before you had taken on the last few Templars and everything, Edward had sent a letter back home. And after you finished everything up, he got one back. And as everything's resolving, his few remaining friends are asking him, what are you going to do? Are you going to join the assassins? He's like, I've got to make some things right back home first. He goes, but eventually. And that's when a ship pulls up and a little girl comes off the boat. He did not know he had a daughter.
Whoa.
The end of the game is during the credits. While the credits roll, you're sailing on the ship and he's talking to his daughter. He, finds out that her mother passed due to some illness, and she's asking him about, did you always know how to sail a boat? And he goes, well, actually, honey, it's a ship. And no, I learned. And there's some banter back and forth about ship and boat. And she's like, can I pilot your boat? And he goes, yes, you can pilot my ship. Once we get her to open water. And then it after all of the credits, it cuts to later, she's grown up more. Probably to her, I don't know, maybe mid to late teens.
Yeah.
And her and her dad are at an opera or a play or something. And then a little boy comes along and goes, Daddy, I can't see. And he goes, it's all right, Hatham, I'll hold you. And, picks him up. So that's Hatham Kenway as a little kid. And
all connecting.
It's all connecting.
Yeah.
And then, after that you can just run around, relive, or pick up some of the pieces that, you have left over.
How does that work? It just lets you go back to islands that you were at before and try to find those things? Okay.
Oh, yeah. The end portion where you get actually out of the Animus back in Abstergo, that last part of that is you're actually woken up to that IT person that you've been talking to.
Mm-hmm.
His name's like John or something. He's in your face. And he looks exactly like the Sage, because we've learned that the Sage just kind of gets reincarnated. And so he's talking about how he wanted to use you to bring Juno back, and he wanted to meet her and this, that. And he tries to kill you by injecting you with something before some guards come in and shoot him. And it winds up getting you off the hook. Your team lead's like, wow, nobody knew that he was so crazy and off the rails. And thankfully he didn't inject you with a lethal dose. And
oof.
After all that, you get a call from Desmond's old cohorts that are like, we didn't know our guy on the inside was crazy either. We're sorry about that. We're not like that. And if you want to keep working with us and keep, basically if you want to keep doing the whatever side missions and things there are to do outside, we'd love to keep working with you. So,
yeah.
But that's pretty much all of Black Flag. There is there was some DLC, Black Flag Freedom something, I can't remember. I know it's on there as well, so I can play that at some point. I've got to do Rogue.
Do you know?
Freedom Cry. There we go.
Freedom Cry.
Huh?
What does that consist of?
It has to do with the old quartermaster, the guy that was with Edward like the whole game, and he winds up kind of teaming up with the assassins as well. So it's just like a side story with him.
Gotcha.
But other than that, I actually did play a couple more games real quick. I popped in, like Cesar was saying, it's basically spooky season. I wanted to start playing some more
September, October.
Halloween-esque titles. I popped in first Medieval.
I need to do the same.
This is, you're playing as Sir Daniel Fortescue.
One of the best openings in video games ever.
To defeat the evil sorcerer Zork, and save the kingdom of Galamir. And of course, he was supposed to be this awesome knight who led the charge into battle and beat the sorcerer, 100 years ago, until he just re-showed back up. But really, you see the cutscene as soon as he revives, and he goes and charges into battle, and he's the first one to immediately get fell by an arrow
to the face
and die immediately.
The Legend of Galamir.
So,
oh, it's so good.
This is to basically redeem him as a hero is the whole quest of this, is defeat him this time and redeem yourself as a hero.
Legend that we've always known you as, but you're a fraud. He's such a likable character too. Yeah.
So basically it's set up, your standard level, you go through and you collect, if after you kill a certain amount of enemies, you can get a chalice, And if you collect, the chalice in the level, you go to the Hall of Heroes, and you can trade those in for like upgrades. As far as like you get like a new weapon or something. So, the one problem I had with this game is I got maybe 5 or 6 levels in. It's definitely a PS1 game in the fact that sometimes you get a new ability or something else and it doesn't tell you exactly how to use it, so you're just kind of like playing around with the controls to figure out like, oh, okay, so this is actually it said I got that upgrade. I don't see anywhere, it didn't say now press this button to dash or whatever. It's just I had to you've got to feel it out. With the addition of the like upgraded visuals and the using the DualShock 4, it feels very much more like a PS2 game now.
Yeah. That's accurate.
The biggest problem I had with this is, oh my gosh, does it have some cheap deaths?
Yeah.
There was that's what killed it for me, honestly, because there were a couple. It happened once. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I got to this portion because I got past it. I got to this portion where like you go, there's these cliff sides that you can see, and you've got to push like some pedestals off so that they land in the water and you can jump across this bridge.
Okay.
So you've got to go underground and go left or right. Eventually you have to do both. But by the time you get to the end of the hallway, there's like a thing, like basically a jump pad. And you jump on it and it sends you up the chute and onto the cliffside.
Yeah.
I went to the right first, used the jump pad, and it sent me up and over the cliff, and I fell immediately into the water to my death. I'm like, what the hell? I said, okay, maybe that was a fluke. I did it again. He went whoop right over the cliff into the water. I said, okay, I'll just do the left side first. Went and did the left side. No problem. Came back to the right side. I said, if I die, this is it. And I went out, up, and I landed on the cliff like no problem. I don't know what the hell I did the first 2 times. It just wanted to take my life. And I kept going, and you've got some enemies in there that'll give you some really cheap deaths, and it did a couple of that a few more times, and I was like, okay, I may come back to this later, but right now it's ticking me off because it's really cheap. Yeah. That's when I picked up a game that was
though.
It is the humor, the writing. It's a great game, honestly, but some of the mechanics and those cheap deaths, it just hasn't. It just makes me angry. But that's when I picked up Pumpkin Jack.
Pumpkin Jack, you got that in last week, if I remember right.
Yeah, a game that is very similar, but this game, the Kingdom of Arson, what is it? Arkansas Kingdom, are living happily. Everything's fine.
Okay.
And then the devil's bored, so
as he does,
he throws a curse out there, which puts monsters and the living dead out there and causes chaos. So the humans have a champion, which is a sorcerer. And he says, okay, well, I'll send a champion too. He chooses this trickster whose name is Jack, who he had cursed him to live inside. He put his soul inside of a pumpkin. And he has promised him that he can actually go to the afterlife if he goes and defeats the sorcerer. So you're playing technically the bad guy who's supposed to be dooming the world in this one.
Yeah.
This also plays like a PS2 game.
Yes, it
but
does.
It's
got a Jack and Daxter
it is so
feel to it.
Yes, it actually does kind of have a Jack and Daxter feel. It's kind of very linear level. you unlock every level. You unlock different like weapons to use. The levels are broken up with like your normal like hack and slash, and then all of a sudden you'll be doing like a minecart ride, or you're flying through the air holding the wings of like a giant bat, or it does or like riding a possessed horse through this forest. So it breaks everything up really good. It's got good writing and good humor as well. And it's actually a really short game. I already beat it.
Oh,
It's maybe 4.5, 5 hours.
oh wow.
So
Yeah, I think I have it for Steam. I could go through that.
oh yeah. And the guy that did this game, I see Head Up. I don't see the gentleman's name on here. That actually was the brainchild behind this and like the main developer.
Mhm.
I know he did another one called Akimbo that is like 100% a Ratchet and Clank clone. So
Akimbo.
Akimbo.
Is that on
I know
everything
that's
as well?
on Steam.
Yeah.
I believe it's just on Steam. I'd have to check everything else.
Cesar talked about Bakaru a couple weeks ago, and that's on sale on Steam. I think it's like $11.99.
But that's it for me. Finished Black Flag. Played a little bit of Medieval, and beat Pumpkin Jack.
Beat Pumpkin Jack on the PlayStation 5. Trying to find that game real quick. Yeah, Head Up. There's a Head Up Games complete bundle. Oh, they did some of that Bridge Constructor stuff for The Walking Dead. Remember that series, Bridge Constructor?
Mm-hmm.
KO the Kangaroo. Trying to find this real quick. Tinkertown. Dead Age. I don't see that game, Brent. We'll have to do a correction next.
Was it Akimbo, or was it? I know it's in my library. Hold on.
There's
I can find it real quick.
Onikira. I don't see the Kimbo.
Can't really drop it in the
Games.
chat for Richard because he's on the call, but it's AKIMBOT.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Kimbot. That's
I think I did click on that, but it was like a side scroller. I was like, what is this? Is it like a side scrolling Ratchet and Clank?
not from.
It's a 3D action adventure. It's in the chat. You can take a look at it after this podcast. I threw it in the chat.
Yeah.
I will. There's your game. Kimbot. You guys got anything else you want to add before we get out of here? It is almost a 3-hour show.
That's it.
A 3-hour show. It's like 2.5. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.